2 seconds left. It's going to come down.
We're making a third as he looks up. Making a finds the draw three. Stunning here from.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to SCS Season 6. CJ, Cookies. It's playoffs time. You're this way. This way.
Let me get centered. It's been playoffs time. And you know
It's
what?
our first playoff game.
Yeah, what the hell were the first 3 games? All right, honestly, none of them went the way I thought whatsoever. Not in the slightest.
Yep.
Literally none of them.
I think
I'm
Surf.
0 for
Surf
3.
made,
I'm 0 for 3.
Surf made sense to me.
You think?
Yeah,
Well,
Surf was
well, no, that one. No, like they won. Yeah, they won.
Yeah.
But like that game,
It was
I don't know if you
a
want-
close
you-
one. Shout out to
catch that?
Achieve. They did pretty well to keep it close, but yeah, that was the one result. I mean, one shot on paper, it doesn't seem like it should be an upset, but just the way that Mystic were playing and everybody's like, oh yes, these guys, they're going straight to the league. Gunner's going straight to the league. Do you see Gunner on the DZ pro on the DZ on the whiteboard? Not the pro. He was on the whiteboard. Yeah, man. Gunner's going straight to the league, guys, isn't he? Lost a kilo.
I don't know. Maybe Kilo should be on that board too.
Yeah, Kilo definitely should. Swaylin should be on that board.
A lot of those one-shot guys should be. But also, I mean, there's just the fact that, of course, Mystic had an injury. Sweater is not present in that
Yeah,
game. And
very
that,
unfortunate.
I got trolled there because I thought he would be. For some reason, I wasn't on Twitter. I was enjoying Christmas like a normal person and not ruining it by getting on Twitter. And I didn't know that Sweater was not there. So I was like, what? Feltwinter. And Feltwinter was like dropping donuts, whatever. So Mystic
I've heard
slammed. I
Feltwinter
didn't
is
know.
supposed to is a CL caliber player.
I don't know. But clearly he's not Sweater. Sweater.
Yeah, I mean,
Sweater's moving on,
Sweater,
I guess.
Yeah.
First round draft pick. But yes, let's see. What quarterfinal is left? We've seen all these crazy stories, right? We talked about the Mystics and the Aerial Academies. What's next, Connor?
We've got a CL game. This isn't Challenger League. This isn't Saturday or Sundays. We're on a good old-fashioned Tuesday, and it's AQUALIX, Rethinking Exile, CZ Afer, and Hat. And unfortunately, you don't see Gasher. Gasher's not there. He cannot play for the first map. It will be Rethinking coming in. And there's going to be a little bit of a role change required for this AQUALIX team going up against KARN & Co. Came off of a pretty good final decider game. Things definitely could be a bit interesting. I believe it is Exile going to be taking up that IGLing role, and that's something I know he's not particularly comfortable with. And against a team that essentially has 2 IGLs might be difficult.
What? Did you catch the thing changing to lull at the point?
I did.
Okay. Yeah, it was like, and then it was lull. You know what else is lully and lulzy?
So
KARN & Company sometimes. I've talked enough about Mikey in the past. It's safe to say his brother's office account. Mikey's playing incredibly lately. Whitlock as well. There's this team settling into itself. Xeno has come into his own as well. Even KARN, even though he's nading himself, all that good stuff. Even KARN's looking nice. The last person I expected. This is the guy who was the grandfather of the Parabellum Standard and all that garbage. Sonar is actually performing very not admirably. The stats aren't up there. There's a lot of plants, but Sonar has a lot of opening deaths on support. Sonar is like -5 billion. I don't know what's going on with Sonar. I don't know. I don't have any suggestions. I have no ideas. But he stinks right now. If Sonar starts playing better, of course, this team will be complete. But as of right now, I can't believe I'm freaking saying this, but Sonar is the weak link.
That's why it's such a surprise. We had to make it a big double point because Sonar, what's happening? Doesn't make sense.
He's a traffic cone. What's going on?
Usually it'd be Mikey. Usually we'd be yelling at Mikey.
Right?
Usually we'd be saying KARN's ACLs are snapping, but he looks younger than Sonar right now. Looks more
Sonar's-
athletic. He's got a faster 40 time at the combine.
Yeah, well, not enough Sonar. Let's talk about the actually good players in the lot. I'm just kidding. CZ and Mikey. We already talked about Mikey's playing incredibly. Mikey is playing his best siege of the year.
Yep.
In the biggest
Maybe
tournament
his-
of the year.
Maybe his career.
In the year, in the career. Plus, damn near plus 30. the cost. I mean, of course, he's not surviving like 100% of the time, but 32% of the time is pretty good, right? And then CZ, of course, French Canadian hype. He's been getting hype forever since CCS only last year. So this guy, it's easy. He also plays the spots that can't describe them well without using an expletive.
The female dog spots.
Yeah, those hard spots to play. He plays those very well and somehow comes out of it positive, getting 2-for-1s and whatnot more often than not. So even without Gash, AQUALIX is still sitting pretty thanks to guys like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and Rethinking is no slouch. He is a very good mechanical player, sometimes lacking in the decision making, but CJ, one decision that has been made by the teams, actually a whole series of them, the map vetoes are ready for us.
Let's go, baby. We're not going Chalet or Villa, but hallelujah. We're going to coastline, AQUALIX coastline now. This is well heralded, the Gasher coastline.
That lost to Outlast
and beat KCP at the time. That was really interesting.
Wimpy trying to knife somebody.
Oh yeah, the AQUALIX coastline is very storied. They picked it. So hopefully, they're still feeling confident, and that wasn't just like, they're just randomly picking maps. I don't know. I would hope they have a good plan going to coastline. Clubhouse for KARN & Co. You have any thoughts on this one, actually?
It's a pretty solid map for KARN & Co. And it's one that we don't necessarily see AQUALIX go to that often. They've been more prone to go to Oregon than Clubhouse. Sure, we've seen them a couple of times not look horrible. The one that really sticks out to me is the AQUALIX versus Parabellum game, which I believe was 7-4, which on the rounds that Parabellum won, where they weren't like slaughters, they were still like 2v1s kind of things that could have gone the way of AQUALIX. So I don't necessarily think it's a horrible map for them, but definitely have to give them the edge on the old Clubhouse. But Oregon is a very interesting one because I'd say more so the Clubhouse and Oregon, because you have a new IGL stepping in on the side of AQUALIX, and Clubhouse and Oregon would be the easiest maps to IGL.
Sorry, I was taking a gander at my prediction elo, which is tanked because every team I bet on this weekend stinks and just lost. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, you're looking good. 60%.
Yeah,
we're both on opposite sides of the fence here. What's going on?
Hey, I mean, you don't have the information that I do. That right now, Michael X Alvarsamas is going to be boosted up. He's got the E-Boy boost. He's got Jameson Kool-Aid Lancaster at his house right now visiting, but he's still playing Siege. So he's going to be boosted up by NAL Star Kool-Aid and NAL Star Penguin. You didn't know that, did you?
You not just say E-Boy boost.
You got the
unironically.
E-Boy boost.
Well, he's E-Boy boost.
It's a real thing.
We've heard it all. We've seen it all at this point. The E-Boy boost is what's going to carry AQUALIX to victory against literally KARN & Company, Carnage B's team, and his friends and the company. Those guys.
So you just said his friends. It's actually the power of friendship for AQUALIX.
You know what's hilarious?
Friends at the house.
Totally unrelated. I think it was last thing was talking about like how, they're not friends. There's no friends gaming. So maybe they're not friends. Maybe it's just business.
But do you know what else is business, CJ? A whole bunch of SCS business that we've got starting next week. We got the free entry mid-season tournament. It's just a couple of days. It's very low commitment. Come in. It's free. That's even less commitment. You don't have to commit your bottom dollar. Come in, try to win some cash, and a Pro-Am spot on the line. That's what's interesting.
In one tournament?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me I don't have to play this whole league?
Yeah,
I
you don't have to
win
play
one
the
tournament?
month-long league and fight through the quals and go through all of that. You just go through one tournament and get bracket blessed.
Wow. Well, that's
Roll the
one way
dice.
of doing it. Well, would you consider who's going to be in that bracket, though? There's a lot of angsty teams, so that's not easy whatsoever.
No, it's definitely going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. Just like the Stage 2 qualifiers. And if you type !play down in the chat below, we'll bring you a nice link that'll just have everything laid out for you. You can pay for your qualifiers or sign up for the league. I believe it's 64 spots. First come, first serve for that tournament. So those spots are going to fill up fast. Better go quickly. Better see you just whipping out the Twitter fingers and typing as fast as you can.
Not typing up retirement posts. What are you retiring for? Were you going to play Halo?
Back.
What are you gonna do? Play Valorant? You
We
suck
saw
at Valorant.
how that happened with Psychosis. He's already
Yeah,
back.
like Psycho
Psycho's already
realized
back.
he stinks at Valorant. He's already back. So play SCS. You know, stop trying to go pro in Halo. You stink at that game too. You know. Let's go, baby. CG3, it's back. It's lit. More than ever. You can make history. Starting with history right now. Coastline, KARN Company, and AQUALIX, baby. And you know, I'm expecting a high octane, high energy, passionate environment.
Yeah, CJ, the funniest thing is that the last round that Rethinkin played on Coastline was that play. That play that you're thinking of. The 1v3 with 8 seconds left and the bomb going down where Jolton decided to get off the bomb and try to kill him. As DS Lucas gets gunned with an SMG-11, Jolton gets blasted with a shotgun, and so does Wimpy because he jumped in the window with his hammer out trying to kill Rethinkin thrown in a corner. That was a play that I do not think we will see anything like on this game, but a man can dream.
You know, that was just...
That was our play of the year, stage 2.
What's just so fitting is that, like, in the clip, like, Discover, which, I mean, Discover left us to Discover just retired.
Mm-hmm.
You know, left this AQUALIX team. They're wishing they had Discover right now.
Wait, that
But
was
yes.
Discover, not Rethinkin. You're right.
Yeah, it was Discover. Rethinking was just there, just watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the Discover clip. And it was funny because Discover has no emotion. He's just like, whoa, let's go.
You just hear Gasher screaming, "Oh my gosh!" And then Discover's like, "Yeah, I do that on the daily. It's no big deal to me."
I guess in related news, this is a different AQUALIX from those times though. Like, this is a team that took down
CZ.
They took down One Shot, okay? And One Shot right now is looking like the most complete team in SCS. I said it.
I don't think that's a very hot take.
Which, I mean, a couple weeks ago it was. Okay, don't even act like it wasn't.
Yeah, you've been
We had
saying
all-
that. You've been on the gospel of One Shot.
No, we've been on the gospel of these T3 teams that were supposed to be all good and holy and whatever, and they stink. And then AQUALIX is the team that actually, and One Shot, of course, are the ones that actually look the most consistent and well organized. And then Aerial Academy of all teams looks like the best T3 team. What the?
I know.
I almost swore. I'm just so pissed off right now. That's what we got out of those top 2 teams. It was ridiculous.
Hey,
and
Surf
it
is
stunk.
still alive. They're T3's last hope.
Yeah, they are. They are actually. I guess it's 2 hopes because it's semifinals
guess, yeah,
next, right? It's 4
Aerial
teams.
I don't even
But-
want to count Aerial Arise Academy. They're like the pug stack of like former T2 players. It's weird.
There's
It's
T3
hard to
mixed
say
in there
that they're
though.
like T3 because like only Dami
Dami?
is truly T3.
Well, they aren't CL,
And
are they?
Spiker. I guess yeah, Dami and Spiker.
Not CL, are they?
Yeah, they were. They have T2 experience.
Doesn't matter. They're T3 until they make it.
That is true. But we're still waiting for people to join the lobby.
Who are we waiting on? Because now I'm starting to get angry at that too. Who is
I
it?
see all 10 players in the lobby currently,
What are we doing?
but we're still just sitting here twiddling our thumbs. See, it takes us throwing a fit.
I'm
'Cause
like,
now we're
I'm like,
starting. We start throwing a fit, and all of a sudden things start happening. That's
I was
how
about to
the
get
world
upset,
works,
man.
ladies and gentlemen. You gotta make sure you yell and be loud because, sure, it's annoying, but that's how you make stuff happen.
Who is it? Usually it's like, you know, see, I realize I'm sitting here talking. I'm trying to figure out what to say. And then I look over and I try to figure out who is delaying my lobby.
And then
we
that's
knew
our
this.
free bit. That's our free bit. It's like, nope, yep, Gasher. That's who we're gonna blame here. But no, Gasher's not here. Rethinking's in, and everybody was already in the lobby. You got bans coming up, CJ.
It was Exile.
So
Thank you,
it was
Exile.
Exile. It was Exile. All
Muppet.
the people in his house, making it so much more difficult to get to his computer. Like, oh no, you gotta say bye to your friends for an hour. There's gonna be downstairs watching you on their phones. It doesn't really matter. AQUALIX Lion Band makes sense. It's Coastline. Not really surprising. He's a good operator on that map, CJ.
On that map, we're in the present. This map.
This map.
This map. Coastline right now, yes. But sorry, I leaked it. Guys, you're not going to believe this next ban. They
A
banned Buck.
Hmm.
So that's funny. This map is very vertically
Afer
oriented.
does like to entry on the Buck.
there's definitely some buckage that you can do, especially on hookah. And if there's Mira left up, will Mira be left up? That remains to be seen.
No.
Just kidding, she's not. So that's interesting. Wonder how that buck ban. I'll try to observe that closely. See what that buck ban
makes
transforms
the
itself into.
sledge that much more impactful. He's
Yeah,
even
obviously,
more important.
I wish my camera was still up in that moment because I wanted to explain. I mean, buck shoots upward.
Mm-hmm.
Sledge can do that sort of. Like on hookah, I've seen people hop up on the bar like it's a frat party at Florida State or something, just twerking, sledge in the ceiling. That's about the most vertical play you're going to get downward to upward at a sledge on this map.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, obviously, the buck not being there, that changes that significantly, meaning might
A lot.
change entire attacks, right? Changes how the whole attack works. Oh my god.
Osa.
KARN loves doing this.
He does.
We saw this last week, didn't we?
Mhm.
Osa.
We did. Where if this is a kitchen, we only saw them whip out the Osa on the kitchen. And they would have one Osa shield on the hookah bout to make sure that hookah did not get like retaken. And then they just went for a full sunrise push and just KARN sat at the bottom of Cool Vibes at kitchen door menacingly for like a minute and a half. And the attack did nothing. But hey, maybe they have refined their Osa energy. And they're going on a different bomb site on the attack. I have to think that the hookah window would actually be a pretty strong spot to put that Osa shield, because you can just bisect the entirety of both sites and have it just be so much safer. Because sometimes there's just angles that you can be challenged in that you have no idea what the heck is happening. You just get domed while you're on that window, even if you're upside down. We've seen it happen too many times. You have an Osa shield there. It's pretty good. And there's no impacts or nitros on the side of AQUALIX.
That is very critical when we talk about the lack. Or rather, I guess the dynamic around Osa. You know, you're not
No explosives.
actually going to be able to deal with it. So obviously, they're going to need to find success elsewhere if you're AQUALIX. Maybe on a flank. You see Rethinking is actively looking to cause headaches for the attackers pushing it through office and pushing it from below. You know, we just talked about how there's no buck and vertical pressure would be limited as a result. They're still trying to clear bottoms up, and I'm not talking about Trey Songz. Zeno has already been down. And while Rethinking is nearly going to be down in return, but he's going to likely not re-peek into that. CZ going to take out Whitlock. I have no idea where that was. But yes, already this attack, which, again, we're talking about Osa and we're talking about the buck ban. You would think that would actually transmit itself into more of a penthouse clear, and like you were talking about with the windows and the shield and the fact that the defense doesn't have impacts. Instead, it's a lot of death and destruction downstairs, and they're just going to give up on it. They did all that, Connor, and said, you know what? This is too hard. I give up. It's like doing 5 push-ups when you're supposed to do 10 and just giving up halfway through. But it's going to pay off. Mikey's going to... I mean, Afer just stuck his face into the big window. Rah! Rethinking, does he have the ACOG on that or what?
Yeah, Rethinking, he did not miss a beat. That was a nice shot onto Mikey, who has been a demon on that big window in quite a few rounds of Coastline. And he's removed immediately, and that's a power position to be cleared for the defenders. All of a sudden, you can play a lot of positions like swinging the bomb site, like swinging the rotate hole. It's exactly what all of AQUALIX are going to do in unison. Exile picks up the last one. That was lambs to the slaughter. Absolute decimation on this first round of Coastline.
And I said it once, you know, I'm just going to say it again. Look, they decided... Let me explain that one more time. They went in from below. When you go in from below, that implies, right? I don't know, you're going to clear stuff from below, right? Clear out hookah from below. Maybe even clear out where, you know, Afro was playing on the couches and billiards. That type of thing, right? I mean, and naturally, AQUALIX is playing to resist that. That's something you actively, as a defender, you don't want that to happen to you. So they're resisting it. There's florals. They're peeking down hatches. Whatever. KARN says, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. And that's fine. But it's a little bit alarming. I would expect they would have a better plan in mind for the buck ban if they literally did, like, didn't they ban it?
You would expect it for more of a horizontal push as opposed to
Yeah,
vertical.
exactly. right?
It just makes sense.
It makes infinitely more sense than just, I'm going to go in here. No, never mind. I don't want to.
Be like, hey, do you remember how we banned the Buck? Do you know what Buck is really good at? Going inside of the bars and shooting upward. What if we did that anyways, even though we didn't have Buck?
That wasn't where that attack just, you know, it wasn't really
Unless
well thought out.
unless their entire plan was for Xeno to blast the floor with his ass charges, and then they would have just had no explosives besides Mikey's nades to deal with all the shields that AQUALIX brought. Unless that was the idea, then that would kind of make sense. But yeah, we saw the result. It didn't work, and it wasn't pretty.
But we have seen, speaking of KARN Company, horizontal takes last week. Obviously, the OSA's not here anymore. They really tried to force that kitchen door with the OSA. Obviously, Carnage B has opted for the floors instead. But they really tried to force that door and force a direct take. That is, we already see, you know, of course, a mindset shift week to week, match to match, strategy to strategy. And, well, reinforcements and a wild CZ on the Cool Vibe stairs. We're talking about all that. No, Exile just got crouch walk. Where did Xeno come from? Xeno just appeared, manages to cut off Exile. And I'm gonna see if I'm Exile. I'm like, where the hell did this guy just come from? I mean, that was the quickest
just
drop.
appear inside the building sometimes.
Did he just drop the hash and like appear instantly? And CZ, well, he's still pressing the issue on the stairs. And just like that, KARN Company gently entered the map and got 3 kills for it.
I mean, yeah, now it's a 2v5, so anything that Afer and Rethinking do, it's just kind of a desperation shot. You see Afer, he's trying to retake up white, maybe get a kill or two his direction to get some sort of momentum. But Sonar, he's diligent on this flank watch and making sure that no shenanigans happen over towards that staircase. Because, you know, there's only 2 of them. You only have to watch 2. Plays an air jab each way, but as big window is being, or pardon me, double door is being opened up and the hatch inside a penthouse, Avers is now stuck. He's gonna have to take a gunfight. The first one on the Sonar, goodbye to the Nomad, but the quick refrag from Mikey coming down white will be swift, leaving just Rethinking against the work.
Rethinking, you've said it. He is a quality mechanical player, but Mikey's just a little bit better. He also has probably a little bit of better gun in that scenario. Absolutely snipes Rethinking, and well, a little bit of pushback from KARN Company after a very noodle-armed opening round. That round, they didn't waste any time. Xeno, I mean, this dude had to have just went to the DJ balk, walked in instantly.
Yep.
No hesitation. Like, that's championship level gameplay right there at the Ash. Get that entry. I mean, if I'm Exile, I'm like, wait. Especially if he's apparently, allegedly, accordingly, IGLing this team. Maybe he's talking about, like, yo, what cameras, like, we're like, what do you see on the default? And this guy's already in.
Yeah, disappeared. That was more of what we expected to see out of KARN & Co. A lot cleaner of an attack, good cutoffs, good everything. Just a functioning plan going throughout the round of, hey, we're going to go here, here, and there. And it made sense. Made sense, CJ. That was the biggest thing. Last time, when they were upstairs, didn't make sense necessarily. But as we're going to the 3rd bomb site, it's double bar. And considering how strong KARN & Co. looked on a direct hookah take, which is most likely where all the vert is going to be coming from, and, you know, AQUALIX's inability to hold Cool Vibe effectively, CZ went down pretty much without any issues at all. Could be a little bit alarming for this AQUALIX defense because that position is so paramount to the defense.
Definitely. Let's see what the plan is for KARN & Co. The drone's outside of office. It looks like they're... I was expecting maybe he'd try to work his way through office, but no, he's going to go a floor above that to Aquarium, where we see some Maroony gates. And, well, you said it. It's easy. Very much in that position. Though he's very aggressively pushed into Hookah. But I imagine, again, this is... We talked about it. He is a master at getting, you know, at least 1, sometimes 2 for 1 in these scenarios. He's got Exile Hill and support as well. Likely some KK Kona stations. So there's potential for this to be a decent hold for AQUALIX. But of course, once again, KARN Company, they're already moving in. They're very quick to constrict the defenses on this top floor. The entries moving a lot more efficiently. And honestly, I'm used to seeing out of KARN's teams, which again is a very good sign. Whitlock, of course, holding that lobby cut off, and well, you see, defenders from AQUALIX are very much in a panicked situation, very much concerned about all angles of attack. Vaulting through the hole there is Whitlock. He decided to not make it run height or anything. No, I'm just gonna jump over this and dunk on you, X. No, he just gets slammed himself. Have top control, but at what cost?
Yeah, the cost of your sledge, which is exactly why I imagine the AQUALIX defenders, they fell back. They heard, hey, sledge dead. That's good. All you got is some breaching charges and maybe the Rotero drones if they're allocated for vert, which it seems like they are because, you know, desperate times, they indeed call for desperate measures.
This is the second time these guys have done this.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we have seen that happen before, and that is very, very unfortunate. Sonar also cannot connect those shots onto Exile. And now, 2 men advantage, looking quite strong for the AQUALIX defense, still in control of positions like Pengu, like couches, pretty much everywhere on the first floor. It is not looking good for the KARN & Company attack.
Just let me gather myself. Let me gather myself before I... Anyway, not looking good indeed. They have worked their way in office, which honestly is something considering it doesn't look like there's anyone from AQUALIX playing in lobby. Obviously, they didn't actually consider the fact that CZ just retook this, I'm pretty sure, or found some way to rotate in that position. Either way, it's going to make sure that a bar plant is not possible, meaning Mikey's going to go absolutely nuclear here, or they're going to lose this round. Afer gets taken down by Carnage B, but keep in mind, someone's above. That's CZ, and of course, Rethinking, and the rest of AQUALIX still at large in the avenue around the site. Okay, let's talk about it, Connor. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Why is it, explain to me this. Why is it literally Karn's team is the only team I've seen die to a Flores drone like that, right? Previously, before today. And they do it again.
They do it again?
On the same map.
Uh-huh.
Except it's a different person this time. Like, do they not watch the film on that? And say like...
Exactly. See? What? It makes no sense. It doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't make sense. And
you don't see that. Like, I don't see that anywhere, even when I play the game.
I don't see it anywhere. It makes no sense because those Flores drones take like 8 years to go off. It's like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. And for Xeno on Ash, you could literally go all the way to Aqua in the time that it explodes because you're fast. You're
Not
so
even
fast.
That. He has headphones.
Yes, you hear the burp, 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 burp. Like you're.
Does he have headphones?
I don't know. At this point, I'm not convinced that Xeno has headphones plugged into his computer.
And you know what's ridiculous too? Their attention
KARN
to detail.
also doesn't have vocal cords.
No, these guys.
Hey, I'm blowing up the floor.
These guys had breach charge flank watch. They pay attention to detail to that extent, but then they run into Flores drones. Like no one else I've ever seen before in my life. Make it make sense.
Yeah. And Xeno was the only other person with breaching charges. Like they needed him. And he decides, oh, what's this blinking red thing? I'm gonna place a breaching charge on. I'm gonna sit on it like a mother penguin and just explode. But it's a new round. It's a new round. We could see some change. We see the Osa coming right back and Mikey returning to his power position of the big window. Also, one of those Osa shields already allocated over towards the hookah balk where Whitlock could play, but instead deciding to sledge out the castle barricades that are supplementing this roam downstairs. Rethinking, he's inside office, has this fall off to security that we saw before, but I'm just hoping and praying that KARN & Co. realize their mistakes last time, that they don't need to go below.
It's looking like they're recognizing. Really concerned about their luggage flank, as they should be, because they didn't actually clear from penthouse necessarily. They've just kind of repelled in the big window and Aqua. All right, presumably hookah as well. Yep. So it's obviously multi-directional, but still, I mean, ultimately coming from kind of the same direction. Really hoping for the AQUALIX defenders to overpeak here. Carnage B is holding the flank with the shield. This guy is like a Spartan in 18th century BC. I don't know. He's just sitting here holding his shield like a phalanx. That's what I was thinking. A phalanx. Mikey's gonna find Kid Hat. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe he overpeaked. I'm not sure. But that Mikey, I believe, was on the big window, and he's gonna go down instantly. Karn's gonna work his way into the site, and since, again, keep in mind, no explosives means Smoke's gonna have to do a lot of work here, even though we are at a 3 versus 3. This is a situation where that's a really good Osa shield, considering the scenario. There are no impacts, no C4s. Afer has 1 smoke, and there's someone on the big window, meaning a swing is not on the menu for the defense. Karn's just gonna be able to plant. No one can really stop this unless Sonar gets slammed, which has become a recurring theme, apparently, for KARN Company's 0-4 now. And this is now a winnable round for the defense, unless someone, presumably Xeno, since he's not the one with the case, goes to the big window again to cover KARN. But, man, that's a critical gunfight for Sonar to lose. This is now a much more winnable fight for the defense. They can double swing, especially if Xeno just falls down the hatch. And KARN is now in a 1v, or Xeno's down in 1v2. KARN's just questioning his life decisions up to this point. It's just Xeno. Unbelievably, Carnage Company had the perfect setup here, and it's not looking like it's going to pay off in a round victory. Just someone just shoot him. He's on the clear shield planning right in front of you. Someone, they don't peek. Neither of them peek at that moment, which means this is winnable for the Iona. But Exile's better.
I was about to get really angry.
I am angry at this point.
I was about to get really, really angry. Because Xeno, like, you almost just want to say it's unlucky. You know, he didn't mean to drop the hatch. And it's like, it's happened to everybody. You're aiming down sight, you're trying to get an angle, then boop, you're down the hatch. And you're like, dang it. And you lost the round because of it. But in that situation, you almost got to be more mad at Sonar.
Yeah, how does he, you know.
The big window gunfight. 2 people lost it to CZ. Just hitting the Ferrari peak. Just swinging across the window, slamming people. First Mikey, then Sonar. Bye-bye. Goes down the most powerful window, and arguably the most powerful window in the entire game. I would say big window for
Chalet. It's the only one that's
yeah,
more...
Chalet and this map are the only ones that really, like, you know, pop off and are like, oh my gosh, yeah, these windows are kind of broken.
Let me tell you, Connor, you wouldn't believe that if you watched Sonar play that window. You would think that window is the worst window in the game. Oh, he just got slammed. I thought that was as perfect a scenario for KARN Company and Osa, especially. It doesn't get any better than that. They don't have any explosives. Afer's just throwing smokes at everything. So there's plenty of time for them to just plant and cover. And they can't do it. It's honestly Xeno falling down the hatch. Who cares?
10 seconds left.
That's the perfect scenario, and they still don't win the round. And keep in mind, AQUALIX is playing literally, like, rethinking.
All I'm gonna, or CJ, all I'm gonna say is one thing that I thought was really weird was just justified to me. That I was like, I didn't want to say anything about it, but I was like, why the heck is Afer on smoke? That makes no sense. And Gasher has also come back, so he is ready to go, and he types in Twitch chat, why is Afer on smoke? He also doesn't know. So I was justified in being confused. But apparently it's working. Because they have won 3 defenses. So far. Or I guess you could argue that, you know, KARN and Co are definitely losing these rounds as opposed to AQUALIX winning them. But it's rough. It's been rough.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
And while it's continuing to be rough. Once again, Carnage Company, I'm pretty sure they're still trying to do this take on the kitchen door. The Iona clone spinning around in confusion. But yes, they're trying to... Karn's dead, so that whatever they were trying to do through the site isn't going to work now. Gonna have to do a ad-lib take here. Got the sledge running around in desperation. Try to chase a refrag, but yeah. This attack was pretty much KARN is going to stand in the doorway and try to push in, and everyone else is going to try to play make off of that. And with KARN dead on Osa, and the fact that there's 2 donuts on the side of KARN Company, it would take quite the push here, considering they just have not secured anything. They have not taken any map control above. You don't have the power, the spearhead behind this attack anymore. And, well, Kid Hat just slammed the soul out of Mikey. We didn't actually see it, but I know that was nice. All the way from half court across the map. with the Roni, which is still good, by the way. 3 versus 5 for the attack to overcome. And there's a rook. There's just a rook upstairs just chilling, by the way. Rook.
Yep.
Rook.
That's how comfortable they're feeling. Whitlock is in the bomb site, but he gets slammed by Aver. The refrag comes in. Sonar has finally gotten a kill. He has the diffuser, and he's hopped into a pretty good plant spot. Xeno, he's able to hold down. Goodbye to Kid Hat. Yellow pings over towards lobby as the attempted protection of this plant is going to let it go to a post plant. 2 players stuck inside a lobby. 1 pushing up kitchen hall. That's going to be Sonar to take out Rethinking. But CZ, he lands the shots onto Rethinking. And Sonar immediately out of nowhere. AQUALIX just obliterated the post plant that I thought could have bore fruit for KARN and Co. But CZ just says no. Shuts the door. And AQUALIX have a winning defending half.
Yeah, I mean, as ridiculous as these first couple rounds have been, I just didn't even comment on the rook. That's just like, you know, they changed the UI, so it's like rook is it shows like what he does for you, like your health.
I don't know.
That's like huge, right? That's like a real big change. So they like did that, and it's hilarious because he's been ringing Thunderbird and he decided to bring rook. I guess rook is more like a one-time like Thunderbird, I guess, if you think about it, like in terms of raw effectiveness, like an extra 20 HP. But obviously it doesn't, like, you can't keep getting it, and obviously you can't like overheal. So I can understand Exile, maybe he just wanted to switch it up. Maybe he just doesn't like Thunderbird's guns. Some people, you know, some people can't hit headshots. Exile doesn't strike me as that type of guy, but some people just, you know, and maybe they're not bearing players, they just don't like Thunderbird. But I mean,
Shoots the shotgun.
clearly he picked rook for the gun and it still worked. And I'm gonna be honest, like AQUALIX, if Gasher's in the chat talking about I don't know what's even going on, these guys are just kind of playing and they're still winning. And KARN and Company is supposed to be the team. They've got the staff, they've got the manager, they've got KARN, and they look like lost puppies right now in comparison. And of course this is AQUALIX's map pick, but this was a KARN and Company map pick at one point.
It was.
As well. So it's not like they're just poop at this map. They're just playing like poop right now on their favorite
Playing
side.
like Muppets.
So I don't know what's going on.
I don't either.
They better
Xeno,
get together.
Xeno played absolutely incredibly last time we saw this team. Him and Whitlock were putting up numbers. Now we've seen Xeno trollolol. It's not Xenololol, it's trollolol. 2 rounds. Whitlock hasn't gotten a kill. And it's just been rough going. I mean, for the side of AQUALIX, they're a very momentum-based team. As soon as players like CZ and Afer really get going, they can be hard to stop. And even without Gasher, who has been a voice of reason and IGL for a long time on this roster, you're bringing in Rethinking, who is no slouch in the mechanical department. You could argue that the fragging power is even higher on this roster, this iteration for AQUALIX, and it's kind of showing.
I won't let you slander Gasher like this.
It's not slander. I think Rethinking has a nicer shot than Gasher. But Gasher, you know, he's allocated the budget. He's allocated the skill points to the communication skills. And the, hey, I actually know what the heck is going on in the game kind of thing, you know?
Dude.
Sometimes.
All I
Gasher
know
also
is
troll lulls every once in a while.
I'm just not listening to you. Gasher's literally the best player in the team. And you need to get a grip. Gasher, when Gasher comes back in map number 2, and KARN and Company doesn't win this one, as CZ just embarrassed those two. Forget what I'm saying. At least Carnage being the rest of KARN and Company worked their way in the kitchen with the Osa shield. Speaking of Thunderbird's gun, it doesn't actually net. Who's that? Exile the kill. So it's going to be on 1 HP. And with the diffuser as well. And I'm sure there's smoke. Yes, there is from Afer, meaning that a plant isn't necessarily the best idea. Especially if there's someone above.
He saw him.
Oh, Exile, just put your glasses on.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my good lord!
Goodness! What is happening in this game, man? What is happening? You see him? Yo, scratch that round. Yeah, you better hope so. What is going on? He saw him for 2 seconds, decided, you know, the bullets in my gun, they're not good enough to get the kill. I'm just gonna blow myself up. Yes, that is another what moment. Thank you, production. Kool-Aid, Jameson, if you are in chat right now, please go up and slap Michael upside the head. I'm begging. I am begging.
Is the moment too big right now?
I don't know. He's
We're in the
shaking like a
quarter-
Jamaican.
We're in the quarterfinals, and everybody's shaking like a tree in the wind during a tornado. Like, what's the issue? We got people blowing each other up, falling down hatches.
I don't know.
All right. First thing is, I mean, that was pretty good from KARN Company. The flood was mildly intelligent.
It was.
Though they didn't really consider the floor holes, which could have absolutely worked for AQUALIX and totally ruined
Yeah,
that.
he picked like one of the 2 plant spots that they had holes for. He's like...
All
My
right.
parents were not getting ready to start going to bed. I would be just absolutely mental right now. I am frustrated. But hey, at the end of the day, as much clowning as we can say towards that round for AQUALIX, they did get the 4-2 split, and that's pretty good on Coastline.
They're more than fine.
Yeah, they're chilling.
Scenario, they are chilling like an ice cube. So I will say this defense from KARN Company, we saw it against Mystic. A lot of KARN Company love to just re-roll stuff. This defense was used against Mystic to decent effect. Entries. It was either Mystic or Surf, one of those teams with ridiculous players on it. KARN Company managed to hold the line pretty darn well. So I want to see this strat works out again. And that was whatever team in question. They came from the theater side of things. And I imagine AQUALIX is, well, you can clearly see based on the blue outlines, depending on your quality options on Twitch. A lot of them are kind of out near Hookah, near Sunrise right now. Not pushing into the defensive setup with all those head holes and the shield and whatnot in VIP. They're pushing the opposite direction again without the buck, but you can make it work, especially if you put more emphasis on cool vibes rather than, of course, the actual vertical destruction. So we'll see how that pans out for the attack, because that's what's looking like is developing at this juncture.
Yeah, pushing into the horizontal hold would not be that fun, because there's a lot of deep angles, there's a lot of utility, a lot of bodies over towards that section. Kind of the only weakness you would say would be a hard aqua push, but you still need to have some balls, you have some cojones. You need to take out Carnage B by just running right up the staircase. Goodbye, says Afer. Sure, there's a whole flurry of frags going back in the direction of KARN & Co, but it's been absolute pandemonium as Exile's going to pick up 2 off the window. Rethinking could be picked up, but he's going to take down Zeno. He's going to drop Sonar as well. I don't know what happened in that round. Kid Hat says, sit.
Sit.
Because goodbye, Sonar. The red hat gets absolutely domed. The wonderful Italian lady goes bye-bye. AQUALIX, they weren't just good at defense. They were pretty strong, they were pretty aggressive, and pretty explosive on their attacks.
That was a very athletic push, because I mean,
It was.
Let's analyze it. Again, the big window, when you're not getting slammed off of it, you saw player in the big window pretty much cut off a lot of people. The guy Couches, he can't move, obviously. He's
got anchors in his boots because
he's laid down, he's laid an anchor out of his butt cheeks. He's just not moving, right? Then you've got the guys in the 90 hall. They're not going to be able to cross back. The little rotate we saw, we were talking about that setup in VIP. That's in full view of the big window. So you're not going to be able to rotate out of there. You're not going to be able to rotate back. Obviously, if you go luggage, you're just asking to die too, pretty much. Like, what are you going to cross the window from that way? Right? So you've got, like, what? That's 3 people that are basically taking down the round by one guy on the big window, right?
That's why it's a good window.
And then you got Afer, who's he's just a better athlete.
He
than
just said,
KARN.
screw it. He's going to run straight through the smoke.
He's just a better athlete than KARN. He runs right through the smoke, breaks his ankles, and then his teammate follows up. And again, that guy was petrified in a corner. Like, there's an anchor. Like, he's got about a 30-pound dump in his pants. He's just sitting there in couches, not moving. So player moves up, cool vibes, takes him out again. I mean, it's just like, that's what happens when you actually use the big window pressure to your advantage. Something that, I mean, KARN Company they acted like was not a thing. And AQUALIX, even with the sub, looking a lot more based on this map. 5-2 lead. Post timeout. What is the answer for KARN and Company? It's looking like that answer is going to be Penthouse. They're going to be going to a site we have not seen yet in this match.
Going to the Twitch, too. See Rethink and get activated on the pure fragger that is Twitch. And Xeno. We were talking about athleticism. Just pick the most athletic op, CJ. It's the Oryx. Who else is built so different he can just run through a wall and has an 8-foot vertical to hop through a hatch? The mobility could be fun for KARN and Co to play with because they need some sort of momentum in this game. They need some sort of big play, need some sort of clutch, some multi-kill, something, or just dominant round all the way around. Or else AQUALIX, they're just going to keep on trucking. They've looked really good on their defenses, besides some minor trollage. That attack was clean. It was a proper flood, and it was just very, very confident. Almost a lack of respect towards the KARN and Co defenders. Where, yeah, it's like, oh, KARN is on smoke. He's topical vibes. Okay, I'm tanking the smoke. He's not killing me. I'm Afer. That's exactly what we saw.
And well, this is a totally different look from what anybody's shown this far in this game. Totally different sight. A lot of moving parts here, especially for a team that has a new IGL and could struggle with breaking down what he's looking at. Though I say that, Kid Hat, who's basically just a fully grown man at this point. I don't know why he's calling himself Kid. Those 2 shots at the end of last round were biblical. He's already pushed into kitchen. He's already just kind of walking around menacingly, looking for electric claws most likely. And no one really from KARN and Company there to resist. I'm pretty sure I saw this once again. KARN and Company's play this map decent bit, and I want to say there was a K that was caught roaming for this defense at one point. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of a different team. But there's no roamer this time. KARN and Company, regardless. That Flourish drone totally missed whoever is in hookah, by the way. So there's a good chance Sonar can do something. Let's see. They have no idea he's here. No clue. Kid Hat's gonna find Whitlock. So now the intensity, the anxiety is peaking for Sonar. And no one's here. They're not even come in there. Oh, that's so unfortunate. They're all gonna rotate. Where are these guys going? They look like they were gonna push.
He finally got in a good position to get some frags. They just go,
where they
I don't
going?
feel like pushing this. They got rid of the shield and they just like, you know, it's too much util. Like it's too rich for my blood. Right there, Sonar. That was the first time, like in a poker game. He was playing poker and he just pocket aces off the rip, and he goes in, tries to up the ante, and everybody folds.
Wow. Speaking of folding, well, Sonar gets folded as well as his teammate Mikey's tried to push up and get the drop on Afer, but Afer had the drop in return. Kid Hatch just kind of going for a crouch walk, but he had Exile in support, so AQUALIX is on match point without Gasher, and if I'm Gasher, I'm like,
my job is gone.
Am I LFT after this? Maybe.
At least it's not a retirement post.
Because this team hasn't skipped a beat.
Because we have the SCS tournament coming up. It's just in a couple of days. It's on the 3rd, CJ, 3rd to 5th. So if Gasher truly is to go LFT, he better assemble the Goon squad. Better get Gasher's Goons V2 to run it up through the tournament and then through split 2 quals, because there's still Pro-Am spots on the line, baby.
I mean, he could team with Barring again.
He could. Barring's also LFT.
Barring's LFT. Maybe he could even fleece Thinking Nade from Nocturnes.
From Nocturne's Academy. You know, Pox just retired. Maybe Gasher could go be the IGL under Dauntless. See, look, just type !play in chat. You could get a nice link that tells you, hey guys, I'm going to sign up. The tournament, it has 64 spots. It's first come, first serve. You better get on those quick. They're going to sell out. It's coming up in like 4 or 5 days. It's coming up quick. It's next week. And then the stage 2 qualifiers. There's the 7th through the 9th and 14th through 16th. You got to pay for those, but you get a whole bunch of games. It's a fun weekend. Fun in quotation marks. It's grueling. It's hard, but that's how we get the best teams here at the next split. So once again, there's a Pro-Am spot on the line. You want to play against all your favorite pros, potentially in Vegas?
5 seconds left.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Better come out.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Or just sit and be mediocre. Complaining about ranked all day when you could be playing comp. Let's see. Spawn peek from Mikey, almost certainly. Why not? You're down 2-6, and it looks like you might just be losing altogether. Mikey's going to be eradicated, and Exile's got so much confidence, he's just going to repel in full sight of that window that he just killed someone through. He's still repelling here. He's repelling here to shoot into blue bar. Something
Do you know what's crazy? Is that because Exile nuked himself with a C4, it makes me think that, oh, he had a bad game. He only has one other death besides his suicide.
It's actually disgusting how one-sided this is for AQUALIX. Hat just ran into sight, ran out, and then there's someone in office with them. They're doing the Macarena together, dancing, and Sonar is gonna come out. I don't know what that engagement was. I don't know how Zofia even got in there. Xeno's gonna slam Exile off this window. Deserved. Exile's just repelling. I'm not sure he had a goal in mind, to be honest. Just kind of repelling. Because there's really not much else going on for AQUALIX. I just watched a Zofia hop in sight, and an Exile's been repelling. Otherwise, what are they doing? On the pool entrance. Staring menacingly into the sight. And that's, honestly, it's kind of a blessing, I mean, considering Mikey just kind of did his best to hand the round over. KARN Company's still leading. And in a good position.
KARN is pinned. Rethinking. All of the AQUALIX players, especially the OGs, know about that position. KARN, he's going to swing out. He's taking a lot of damage all directions. Afer, after the pinch, is going to land that kill. More bullets flying as both Xeno and Whitlock are in positions to challenge. So is Sonar with the crossfire, but Whitlock, he's going to be the one to take out Afer. Rethinking falls at the hands of Xeno. It's all up to CZ, the French-Canadian man. And in comes Sonar for the final kill. It was messy. It was scrappy. But overall, the kind of pseudo retake for the KARN & Co defenders worked out. They fell back. They let some players come into the site, and they just used the angles that they had opened up to make a blender.
For a second there, I was worried. I saw KARN miss a couple shots. You know, KARN, and then he started moving.
And he got killed.
And I was like, oh boy, here we go again. But thankfully, his team was there to save the day. And we'll save the map for the moment for a KARN Company. They're hanging on, I mean, by a pinky off the Grand Canyon right now. Blackbeard gonna come out from Hat. You know, and that can mean two very, very drastically different things. Because speaking, we're joking about Pox and Nocturnes. Pox was the last Blackbeard I saw this whole year. I don't recall any other point in any competitive match all year where someone ran Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, unless it was some random APAC match or something. Pox ran Blackbeard in SCS, right? He like got a 4K.
Think about another team that ran it in the Sack Walls. And
Oh yeah, the Spirits.
Yeah, Spirits.
I mean,
on Blackbeard on Clubhouse.
Yeah, I can name about. They're all on one hand, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Blackbeard's not. Don't even try to sell it like Blackbeard's normal. Like Blackbeard is so common. Like, shut your mouth.
Hey,
Blackbeard.
Hey, if you do not know the history of Heems, the amazing coach, gone too soon from this community, retired early, in his philosophy on Villa, bringing the Blackbeard on Villa because you didn't need that much util at the time. With the Homeland Academy roster that Exile was a part of. Actually, my roommate, Anarchy, and was the Blackbeard on Villa. And that dude dropped 15 every attacking half with Blackbeard on Villa, man. It was T3 was in a rough spot. Just like Mikey is. But if he pre-fires his way across that window, he could potentially land the frag onto Exile. You know, you put a kind of shoot right here hold in the bottom of that window. Mikey probably could land a frag if he was feeling it's bold to do so.
Speaking of shoot right here, usually when you do this, like, I feel like you do this as an attacker, you're just begging to die. Exile's not actually necessarily holding anything at this point. He's just kind of staring through a crack. Afer gets a kill on a Sonar. That's, you know, gonna happen. Mikey's gonna turn on CZ. But in the meantime, a lot of KARN Company defenders default. You know, of course, Sonar and Xeno as well. Taken out. Carnage B. off a pixel on Afer. And well, considering this is Penthouse again, it's gone a little bit differently as the attacks actually, you know, before how Sonar was in that position, you saw he misdroned previous Penthouse defense, and they rotated the other way. This time they've opted to push through VIP. They've opted to push from hookah, and I was gonna say, I'm like wondering what operator I'm looking at. This is Blackbeard, by the way, just with no shields. I don't know what he did with the shields. I don't know if they got dirty. I don't know. But AQUALIX is gonna have the lead, and they're gonna have a strong position until Hat loses that gunfight to KARN, his second of the round. A 2 versus 2 now. And it's very tense because, well, Exile's just appearing behind everybody in luggage, leaving just KARN, where I'm sure they've called out that he's on that single wall about a million times. Grenade flying out. The pre-nade from Exile. But they have no idea where KARN is. He's hiding in the shower. We've seen this position work out previously for other teams. It's going to work out for KARN here, maybe. No. Gets turned on by the Twitch. Wow. Look at it. What is this guy's sense? I don't know. But AQUALIX without Gasher, they take map number 1. And they might just take the series.
Maybe.
Maybe.
That was a pretty dominant performance on Coastline, and sure, you can say, oh yes, but that is AQUALIX's map choice. But that was a map choice for KARN and Co. during this split, so I'm sure they were happy to go there. Now we're going to Clubhouse with the return of Gasher, and AQUALIX feeling confident. This could be a little bit worrying for KARN and Co. Definitely could be, but that is their map choice. You got to say they're going to feel a little bit more confident as opposed to Coastline, but they're starting on the attack. We saw how their Coastline attacks worked.
Being completely honest, dude,
Kind of
what I've witnessed in Clubhouse is not a gimme, even if when it's your pick, you know.
It's an equalizer.
So I will say, I'm pretty sure AQUALIX Soup, last time AQUALIX played Clubhouse, that was when Snake literally hit a highlight reel on them, right?
He did.
They didn't look that great on Clubhouse, so maybe KARN and Company's looked into that. They really like this map coming up.
A lot of pressure is going to be on Gasher.
Yeah, Gasher's heart is like beating out of his chest right now, because if he comes in and lays an egg, he's LFT.
Oh yeah, because from my perspective, CJ,
LFT.
if you are a Gasher and you are coming home late, you cannot make it for the first game, there's one extra thing that you have to do. No, it's not run your tea hunts. No, it's not drink an energy drink. It's not, just listen to some Suicide Boys because that's Gasher's favorite music. No, it's stop by the gas station on the way home and pick up some Mike and Ike, the delicious fruity flavors. They're here to level up your game. Not down. You don't go down. No, you go up to the next level. You go absolutely crazy, and that's what Gasher's going to need to do to save his spot on the team. And they could land you a spot on any team. Maybe you show up and try to go to Nocturnes. They're LFT. Pound a bunch of Mike and Ike and try to get a tryout. Level up your game with Mike and Ike.
Sort of what team are you about to say? I thought you were going to say something crazy, but okay. No,
Dropping the
anyway.
East Coast.
Anyway, map number 2, y'all. Clubhouse, baby. After this break.
Hey, my name is Gasher. I'm player for AQUALIX. Adjusting from T2 T3 is just a little challenging, just because you can play underagers. Underagers obviously play different than older players. Kind of like you see it land, you see the Brazilian teams versus the European team, etc. It's mainly just going to be, I think, how we'll have to overcome it by just being the better team and having the better chemistry. So I guess our fault was fragging power, but I think now that we actually hit the system that we wanted, it should be easier to. There shouldn't be much of a problem. I think our newest fault would be experience, but I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. So we run in Hat Exile. Hat is just a really good mechanical player. He has great comms. He doesn't really have very many weaknesses. He's super flexible, which is always good. Exile is like the same thing. Exile is great comms. He can shot call, which helps me a lot. He can be a role player. He can be an entry. He can support. I mean, he can do it all. So I think those two players are really going to expand what we can do. We don't just have to be a team that like everyone has to play their specific role like last stage. We can just kind of swap people around if something's not working. I think it'll help us be a bit more unpredictable on certain maps. I mean, it's always good for T3 players and T2 players to kind of show off against one another and kind of see like where the that kind of divide and level of play is. I think it's also good for younger players to kind of show off because, you know, players have shown their potential before they turn 18 and then they get picked up either to Pro League or Challenger League. So I think it's just good for the overall scene for everyone to kind of get your name out there. Outside of myself, I would probably go with Exile just because he's less, I think, known compared to other people on our team. And I think in CL, he's been on the like worse end teams. But I've always thought he's been a solid player that just hasn't had the right people around him to really bring the best out of him. So I think it'll show in these next few games. I would say a combination of just aggression but consistency, because I think a lot of teams in the past have tried to be very aggressive and very loose and kind of just up in the air, I guess. But now it's more of like we're aggressive, but there's a consistency to it. And I think that's helped us, that will help us win more games, win more maps. So I mean, it would just be very good for experience. I mean, and kind of, like I said, kind of like a T3 players get their name out there by doing this. I'd be getting my name out there by doing this. I think it would just be great for overall experience, exposure, and I'd probably learn a thing or two that I could take forward and improve on. I listen to a lot of Suicide Boys. It's like when I BFP. I don't know. I really like them. I play a lot of Counter-Strike. That's what I usually do for like warm-up aim and stuff. Valorant, I've been kind of off and on with. I watch some TV every now and then that's kind of it for right now.
B3, make that a 1v2.
2 seconds left. It's gonna come down.
Favor making a third as he looks up. Fake it up. Finds the draw. Three. Stunning here from.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're about halfway or potentially halfway done with this final quarterfinal matchup for SCS Season 6. It's AQUALIX versus KARN and Co. And I think we'll catch a couple of the moments, CJ, but it was definitely a messy one.
Messy doesn't do it justice. Honestly, words can't describe what we just watched. That we didn't even catch. I don't think the replay got the guy flopping down the hatch in that scenario. Dude on the Osa shield, and Exile's blowing himself up. Afer's breaking Karn's ankles. You know,
Kid Hat is saying sit down.
Kid Hat's telling people to sit down. I mean, words don't do it justice. Honestly, if you just tuned in, literally, go watch the VOD. Go back and watch that whole map. That was easily the most hilarious map of a season to me. Nothing else comes close. And I don't know how map 2 can live up to it. I'm gonna be honest. Whitlock went 1-7. Whitlock's. Is he okay?
It's rough out here.
Whitlock 0-3. Donuts on the entry across. I mean, there's 3 different donuts on entry between Sonar, KARN, and Whitlock, and none of them are entry players, which is the thing. So they're just dying like Muppets early. And then, I mean, AQUALIX taking full advantage of it. And going into Clubhouse, the one thing KARN Cup that they have going for them, when they were livid, they were a quality Clubhouse team. When they played Soup, or AQUALIX that is, they played Soup, they looked terrible. AQUALIX with Gasher, who's coming back, by the way, banned Clubhouse a lot. They never played it. They never liked playing it. They stunk at it.
Apparently it's not here.
Now they have to play it here. It's KARN's team, who, like I just explained, you're really good
Rethinking is
at
back
it.
in the lobby, ladies and gentlemen. Rethinking running it back, turbo style, baby.
So did Gasher
They
become
bring the
LFT?
same energy to Clubhouse that we saw in Coast.
Did they just do that before our eyes? Did they just make Gasher LFT before our eyes, or what?
Yeah, I said screw Gasher, man.
They are not letting Gasher back in, ladies and gentlemen.
No, apparently he's not home yet. So
it's rethinking again. This is Rethinking. Welcome back, baby.
He played pretty solid. He can't really complain. I mean, nobody on AQUALIX played bad in a 7-2 win. Like, you know, you're just...
I mean, yeah. So, it's weird. Because normally when I say, like, oh, this guy's going to be LFT, like, for example, when Swaylin missed a map,
yeah.
I was like, yeah,
It's a
oh,
joke.
yeah.
It's a bit, but like...
I was like, yeah, bro, Casanova is the starter for One Shot now. And
I mean,
Gash,
and then when Gomez, it was Gomez, right? That didn't play an AUG game
Yeah,
and
and
dropped a 20 bomb. It's
sometimes
like,
you
oh
just
yeah,
gotta,
Gomez, he's going LFT.
yo, sometimes you just gotta light a fire under some people, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So here we are at Clubhouse.
And Gasher, you know, he used to be untouchable when he was the IGL. Apparently that's not the case anymore. It's all of a sudden very touchable.
He's gone. Maverick's gone as well off the board. We just yeah. No Maverick. No Gasher. No Thatcher.
What a surprise. You know, I guess the Mav instead of the Habana. This means
That is
that you
pretty
have to ban Cade.
particular. Yeah.
You
I
have
mean,
to ban
this is the first
Cade, which
Habana we're
means
seeing in
either
a
Nero
minute.
or Valk will be left up. You know, that's PIMDOS for you. Simple
I mean, this
maths.
has got to be the first club in a while we've not had
We have a
Habana ban.
Valkyrie up. Very interesting.
We're in for something.
We are in for something.
We're in for a special clubhouse. Normally it's the same crap, you know, every game. And this is gonna be slightly different.
Yeah, Afer's pretty good on Valk.
He's alright. Just kidding. You know what's funny?
He's pretty good.
When AQUALIX had Kento, and it was like you ban Valk against AQUALIX because of Kento,
Mm-hmm.
and then Kento and Afer played each other in CL, like I think the last play day.
I remember that.
And Afer actually outplayed that guy. So Afer is very much capable of continuing that trend for AQUALIX. It's always been a thing. You ban Valk against them. Hopefully that's still the case. Hopefully Rethinking is on Bandit, his favorite operator. He has the highest Bandit pick. He has the highest Bandit pick rate of anybody. I mean, how does this guy finesse Bandit like out of dry runs like every time? Yo, so this strat we need Bandit. All right, I got it. Bet. Rethinking every time. I'm not making that stat up either. Like he's literally easily the most common Bandit you're gonna see at Challenger League level. So, speaking of Bandit and whatnot, Thatcher's banned, Maverick's banned. That creates a lot of opportunities for someone who's very experienced in Bandit, especially if Afer can finesse this camera outside with no drones seeing him. I don't see any drones out there, spawned out there. At least off the top of my head. I think I see a drone below there in lounge from Carnage B, but there's a very good chance they don't actually see him opening that garage door and throwing that camera if they're not paying attention. Well, yeah, he's really hoping. He threw the cam in the garbage. He threw it on top of the leftover Raising Canes in the trash out there. It looks like Karn is fishy. Karn's fishy
Zaxby's
about
better.
it. I just named a random place. I didn't mean to start a debate.
As Dripulin would say, Chick-fil-A better.
True, facts. You should. I don't know if Karn saw that camera,
I don't think he
by
did.
the way. He just kind of drew the drone, but more importantly, I mean, Karn and companies worked their way into bar. That's one way to try to deal with the Bandit. Obviously, they can launch charges into the wall from here where Mikey is standing. You might have to deal with the player downstairs here below. I'm literally sure he's right next to Afer. And I still don't know if they've actually dealt with the camera outside. So Afer's got a lot of intel to work with and a lot of stimuli. As there's a lot of people surrounding him, drones, sledge. He's probably going to die any second, right? Surely. Just kidding.
What?
That's going to be AQUALIX coming out on top of that exchange.
Whitlock, how does Whitlock lose that, man?
Well, Whitlock went 1-7 last game.
That's true. And Sonar's going 1-1 this round. Exile takes him out from the top rope. It's just Zeno and Karn. Sure, Kid Hat, he's not on a whole lot of HP. Maybe a nade from down below could be his demise. He's sitting at top red in a power position as a smoke. 3 toxic babes in the back pocket. The only hard breach going on is G2, G1 or G2. I don't know the differentiation on that walls. Don't hurt me. But they still have to get rid of somebody in rafters, and it's going to be CZ playing that position to take out Karn. It's just Zeno. He's going to take out one. Maybe a couple of exit frags. Exile got obliterated, by the way. Oh my gosh. What?
I mean, deserved. What is he doing? He's just sticking his face in the hole. Exile. This is the playoffs. He just sticks his face in there. Now Hat's on 1 HP, and there's only one mine. I'm not sure if there's any discs for the site. There isn't, meaning this is winnable for Zeno. And thankfully, rethinking, the best bandit player, in T2 is gonna win that. Because holy cow, I mean, what is Exile doing? Exile literally stuck his face in there like, I'm gonna get this kill. Like,
he goes, my bad, guys. That's on
what
me.
are we doing?
That's on me. Like, at least CZ went 1 for 1. You put him in rafters, and he gets 1 for 1. Those are those female dog spots we were talking about that CZ plays very well. He's like a guaranteed 1 for 1 in those spots.
Almost 1 for 2, but Zeno's, I mean,
Yeah.
Zeno's
Zeno
blowing
is
himself
just
up, but
hitting
he is
shots, and then Exile's giving him more frags.
shooting. And around, I mean, that was a hectic opening minute for Afer. Threw his camera out looking for an opportunity on the Karn, but then
I don't know how Whitlock lost that gunfight. He was yellow pinged, stuck in a corner, sledge holes made, and he just still wins that.
I was waiting for Afer to die. That's why I was like, kind of like,
Yeah, I was
dragging him.
too.
I'm like, yeah, so Afer's gonna die any second. There's a lot of stimuli here. He's totally gonna die. He didn't. It's like, is KARN Company, once again, I ask, like, what is the quality of their headsets? Are they talking to each other? Are they saying that this guy's here, or are they just shooting pings out like it's a random ranked game? 'Cause that's what it's looking like. I'm not sure how Afer got away with that. This, on the other hand, this defense, as we rotate into the next round, Banshee's being placed. But not for a roam. This looks much more like a, I want to call it a turtle, but just with a lot of emphasis on there's 3 C4s and a pulse. Meaning whoever's playing Vert, the guy who has not had a good day, Whitlock, is going to be in a hell for a time. What is Afer still doing?
A hell of a time.
Yeah, I have a speech impediment, right? Look at Afer.
You really picked a great profession.
I really did.
Yep.
Afer's still like lurking around, but this is very much like, this is like some lone warfighter stuff. I'm not sure, some ghost
Wow.
recon. I don't know what he's doing. Like, he's just solo roaming with everything reinforced, just asking to die. That's a heat check.
They had intel on Whitlock, and so it seems like the player that has intel doesn't win the fight over and over again between Afer and Whitlock. You know, first it was Whitlock having yellow pings on Afer. Afer wins the fight. This time Afer had yellow pings on Whitlock. Whitlock wins the fight. That's crazy. He can start the Vert first nitro cell down. Actually make that 2 because Afer also had one in his back pocket. As down to bottom main comes the Gemini replicator, vaulting through the rotate hole and saying, hey guys, they have a pulse. We now know that. We have confirmation that they have intel from down below. Gonna make taking kitchen a lot more difficult. Have that extra flair of finesse if KARN & Co decide to go that way. But as we see, kind of the flank watch-ish for KARN & Co will be the Zofia of Mikey over towards oil pit in blue. He's going to make sure that no funny business happens. He's going to probably push late and try to scoop up some kills, apply the pressure from a different point, keeping the AQUALIX defenders, you know, keeping them honest.
Honest indeed, with the hatch open. And really, what I could tell, not a lot of utility there in dirt for Hat. It's going to come down to guns, and of course, the 1 C4 from Exile, and well, guns it is from CZ. 2 kills. Just very low context. Not much of an execute going on, just people getting gunned down by the Frenchie. Dirt push, I mean, is honestly not looking like it's going to happen, given the lack of numbers now for KARN Company. If it does, it's going to be a pretty noodle-armed push. All 3 attackers on the kitchen hatch, and I'm going to tell you, Connor, 99.9% of the time when I see this, it doesn't work out. There's a flank now opportunity opening up for the defense. The attack drops through. Pulse is going to win that gunfight heads up against Sonar, leaving just Whitlock playing for the KD. You get your kills, Whitlock. Equalize your CGG. But it won't be the round going in favor of KARN Company. AQUALIX, and more importantly, CZ just murked those guys. And I'm not sure what happened or what they were doing. But those are the types of deaths. They just look bad on your cost. And they just were what happened? No context, just people dying.
Yeah. That's how it be. And so far, AQUALIX, they're just, CJ, we have the term the weight room. Game's just coming down to the weight room. When push comes to shove, AQUALIX are winning those gunfights. It's not even necessarily been the early round that you can say they're setting themselves up really strong. It's been the mid round. It's been the transitionary period for KARN & Co. where things are going wrong. They can get little pieces of areas that they want, and they can't convert properly. They can't, take that next step, because that's where AQUALIX is there to, pull the rug out from under them when they're most vulnerable.
Attackers have located a bomb.
At least through 3 rounds, we are witnessing the dismantling. KARN & Company right before our eyes. A gem defense now for AQUALIX. Once again, they're bringing the Valk because why wouldn't you? A lot of utility. A lot of mileage you can get out of a Valk, and just about every main point of interest on this site is either C4able or just straight up swingable off these cameras. But at least one of them is going to go outside. Afer just loves doing this. That one, unless you have like old man, 90-year-old man eyes, you should be able to see it and tell that, the window's broken, his camera. But we'll see. One under the table like a piece of gum. And of course, drones from the attack being destroyed as well. A lot of intel mind games being played, and a lot of just reinforcement mind games, considering there are 4 on the board for AQUALIX that are just not being used. So if you think the setups are complex from AQUALIX, let me just tell you they aren't. They're just winning anyway.
Yeah, it's nothing special. But then again, when was the last time you really saw something special on Clubhouse that, wasn't just one of those things that we look at and go, oh, that's stupid. That's just how the map works. It's kind of stale, kind of vanilla. That's kind of where the fun comes in. It's just all down to fundamentals. It's a gut check kind of map that you've got it, you've got it. And sometimes you don't. CZ this round, he doesn't. Whitlock takes that opening kill and takes out a pretty important player. One of those window holds. One of the first line of defense on the jump in for AQUALIX is now gone. And CZ, he was doing pretty well so far. Exothermic charge is going to blow up. Mikey takes down Exile. But do they know where Kid Hat is right next to this? Oh, no, they do not. Mikey, he's going to fall. There's shots every which way. And Kid Hat, he was on a prolonged death position. He got his one. He was traded out. But now it's not looking too hot for the rest of the AQUALIX defenders.
You see losing CZ early on, how much that affects. He really was just the first domino to fall. There for that defense, a lot of emphasis on challenging the windows, clearly. It's not panning out for AQUALIX, as Afer's also been found out in gym. Whitlock will be one of those window players to falter. You see a little bit of a gunfight between the players in bathroom and construction. Afer's just, yeah, he's not in an enviable position there. Let's leave it at that. And well, it's just a 1v3 for rethinking. The good news for him is the attackers have to hop through windows, and the Habana seemingly has no idea he's there, but Carnage Beast swings around at the last moment, gets that kill onto the Irunian. The first round for Carnage and Company, they actually shut down that aggression, that ridiculousness from AQUALIX very early. I mean, I honestly wonder if CZ was getting calls like, we saw the camera go out early in the round. Maybe CZ was like, oh, all right, bet, I'm going to peek. And he just so happened to get folded by Whitlock the minute he considered. And then from there, it was just, yeah. Carnage Company just handled them in every instant.
I mean, that's how you should arguably say that all of Clubhouse should take. I am a firm believer that this map is no longer defender-sided, CJ.
I mean, me too,
CCTV,
like who you're talking to.
That bomb site, guess what? It sucks!
Locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
I think Jim's a better bomb site. And we can see that there's still glaring weaknesses on the side of the gym bedroom bomb site, but for AQUALIX's CCTV, it looked pretty strong until they decided to start throwing their life away towards one singular Xeno just running around inside a garage. As soon as push came to shove, Rethinking was like, okay, yeah, fine, I'll do it myself. Finished it off. But you have to think, just on CCTV, you only need to take control of 2 different places. You either need to take control of KARN in the breach, or you need to take control of Garage in the breach. When you have a player like CZ on the defending side, Rafters is not a fun position to try to take. We've talked about it so much. We've highlighted that he is a good player in those not so fun spots that are hard to hold in your marked for death, the 1-for-1 position. But for him, it's almost a guaranteed 1-for-1 position lock, which means for KARN Company, they should probably try to go for this con split. I think it would work a lot better.
Looks like they disagree. They're more interested in going below to deal with this bandit. First and foremost, Mikey's moved into New Blue. He has just absolutely launched a missile under Rethinking, which is going to force him off of this wall. And oh my god.
What?
Afer in that same moment also going to go down to KARN, who instantly gets traded. Aha! The end of all of that, the defenders, though, definitely looking worse for wear as Rethinking just literally got obliterated to 1 HP. Didn't stop the exothermic charge from going off. But of course, like you said, CZ, this guy, he's still an obstacle in Raptors. And obviously, you know, I guess a way of explaining what you were going for and what you want to go for this attack is at least 2 out of 3 main objectives. The garage, ladder, KARN. CZ is obviously a huge obstacle for this garage push that they're seemingly trying to go for, because I can't really see much in the way of a master push coming in. They're just trying to force the garage door right now. And
don't peek from that side.
Sonar's just peeking. Sonar's peeking the door with
that
the
is
charge
garage
in his hand.
clearing 101. Do not peek from that side because they see your shadow.
I mean, don't peek from that side, and then also don't peek when you have a charge in your hand that you could literally use to open underneath CZ. Instead, opting not necessarily to do that, at least not yet. I mean, I still haven't seen him actually go to open that yet. They're just gonna go for the run right in, and CZ's way too good for that. Slams the player on the breach and instantly turns on the Sonar, and that half-cooked attack from Carnage Company. Well, oh wow.
That's why you don't take Rafters against CZ. That's his spot.
Exclamation point sense.
Exclamation point sense indeed. Exclamation point play. If you want to play against a player like CZ, I'll show you. You really need to be hitting the thunts a bit harder.
I mean, is that even a T-Hunt thing? That was also just kind of...
That was pure talent.
You literally spent 45 seconds analyzing how you need to do. It's like a campaign, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to do at least 2 primary objectives to advance.
Yep.
You can't just get plat and say, all right, I'm going to run in. You can't do that. You have to say, well, not normally. Some teams get away with maybe a rush or something. But generally speaking, you need to have respect for your opponent and go for some sort of misdirection. You attack in a triangle. You make them look every which way. If all CZ has to do is look at one thing, really, because he's not worried about someone in garage door. That's not a thing. Like, who does that? Who just walks in garage door and wins? Like, that works in ranked, maybe. It's not going to work in the SCS quarterfinals. CZ's just looking at the breach. He's not worried about anything else. They don't even open. They have Habana available. You know what you sometimes see, right? The Habana pellets onto the single wall and Rafters. They never did that. That was never considered. I'm pretty sure KARN died instantly. So it's just like, I don't know. My disappointment sometimes with how the attacking philosophy for Carnage Company is immeasurable. My day's ruined.
Yeah.
That was just like Sonar's sitting on a garage door as thermite. What's he gonna do? Throw the thermite charge into Rafters?
Yeah, he's just gonna
use your charge.
He's going to frisbee the Texan dynamite.
It's just disgusting. Well, anyway, they're gonna attack basement now. Again, with Habana up, and AQUALIX not interested in, well, I was gonna say they're gonna run Cade, but Cade's more so not interested in using impacts, because obviously impacts don't really help against Habana either. They're just interested in using a lot of C4s, maybe a lot of outcams, maybe a whole lot of CZ getting the football and running over Whitlock. The opening pick, that's critical because it's the sledge from Kitchen. And I don't think they have any breach charges, Connor. They don't!
They do not. Which means they're going to be going into the bomb site raw. That's not going to be fun. Through doorways. In
Forget about
doorways.
camera.
Maybe a hatch drop. If they're lucky, but with no vert, there are still those rat holes and a whole bunch of corners that you cannot check from the hatch. If you go towards kitchen, and Rethink and just baptizes Sonar, sends him back to the Shadow Realm as he just walks by this hatch, and his other teammate is going to peek it right back, but the pre-fires go his way. In the meantime, all the way on the other side, down goes Karn. All hard breach dead. No more hatches will be open. It's just up to the entries. All the support has fallen down. Mikey's going to be taking this gunfight, but Exile gets the better of him. All left up to poor Zeno. Poor Zeno. Every angle covered. He's going to have to drop right into the loving arms of CZ. Picked up quite a few kills in this round. Looked dominant, just like all of AQUALIX's defensive half.
I mean, I didn't even really get to say it, but like, usually, I mean, considering like how the band, you don't have the mirror for the church wall, you don't have the K to do any sort of resistance, gets the Habana and kitchen hatch. You know where I'm going with this? It's almost like you're almost forced.
Oh no. Nope.
What happened? What happened?
Do you not see what I see?
I'm like struggling. Are you like gaslighting me? Is it the
No,
rook?
I'm not gaslighting you. Go to the bomb site observer. Yep.
Oh! Yeah, this game's over.
The bar stage is out.
AQUALIX is so confident they're going to bar stage. All right. To be fair, the site's not bad at all. I mean, I'm sure we'll see it once a defensive setup actually comes through.
Maybe. I'm waiting for, I'll reserve my
It depends on the
opinions
setup.
about the bomb site until after invite. See what like LATAM and APAC have truly cooked up on this map. On this site.
We saw some EU. I mean, I saw a team
Saw a
that probably
little bit
ran
of
it pretty
EU,
well.
but that's those Europeans. We don't talk about them.
Yeah, you're right. I kind of want to see how they set it up before because I mean, if it aligns with what I'm thinking,
Hat
because
gets
usually,
a kill here. They win
I mean,
the round.
if the setup is just spawn peeking, then I mean that's something. But this is actually different. A lot of emphasis towards rafters. It looks like there's Thunderbirds and whatnot. Usually, it's based around like master and whatnot, and making sure that obviously you can use the hatches that are still very powerful in the site to look down into the site and make any sort of push kind of awkward for the attackers. So you're kind of forced into dealing with the roam, which obviously you see the thermite charge coming out from Sonar. Thank goodness this time he actually uses it. But in the meantime, Mikey's gonna get just slammed again. One in 6. Their highest rated player now. It's kind of getting stonewalled, and that's when you know it's getting bad. When Rethinking, who was literally off the couch, Rethinking was eating a bag of potato chips.
He thought he was done. He didn't think he was playing this map.
And then he's coming in lulling you.
He's hitting the fadeaway like prime Kobe.
Just ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous, and he gets away with it.
I wouldn't even say this roam's. I would be honest. I'm not even necessarily blown away by the setup. And I'm gonna be real.
I think KARN and Co just look confused. I don't think they know what's happening.
I think AQUALIX said, "Yo, let's go bar." Look at we have a rook just sitting in stock. There's not.
Yep.
This isn't intricate. They're literally just kind of walking around and daring KARN and Company to do something, and they have shown at least through 2 maps, and we're 5 rounds into map 2. I don't know what's going on. Zeno's gonna get taken out as well. Whitlock's just walking into strip. Some consolation. I don't know what Whitlock's doing over there, because he still has to contend with players above. Again, that hatch and Jim, very problematic. The Oryx is just going to swing the front door out of utter disrespect. And yeah, you see Rethinking's above, like, so going in strip doesn't really help you here. They're just kind of, what are you gonna do? I mean, to be fair, Rethinking could get slammed off the hatch. That's something. Sonar just missed every shot possible. Question mark coming out from Kidat. And this is just a nightmare attack after KARN and Company. A flawless bar stock defense where I'm going to be honest, defense was just kind of waltzing around. And it worked.
That could have been on any
Flawlessly.
site. This was not this bomb site. That was just any site. Could have
That was
happened.
disrespectful. They're running rook again. I mean, this is the only team I know of. Have you seen it anywhere else?
Nope.
That's unironically running rook, and it's working. I mean, tell me if anyone's seen that before anywhere else. Let me know. Outside of a gold ranked game, let me know if you've seen rook. and let me know how it goes for you. We're seeing AQUALIX not use all their reinforcements, and it works. This is KARN & Company's map. They picked this.
Doesn't look like it.
Right now, it looks like this is like a best of 5, and they got pigeonholed in the club when they didn't want to play it or something. But this is a best of 3. They picked Clubhouse. They wanted the smoke here, and they're getting it.
They could have brought AQUALIX to bank.
I mean, could you have taken into account the dude, Gash right now? He is just sweating bullets.
Oh yeah, dude, Gasher is terrified right now. You
Gash is
seen
like, oh my
rethinking
God.
comfortable again, dropping lulls in chat.
Rethink his lull.
Rethinking is feeling comfortable. The vibes are up on the team.
I mean, yeah, I know. So I was watching this, I'd be like, yeah, might have to send out, might have to do some LFT tweet drafting here. Because rethinking, it's like there's
I'll give it a
no
retweet.
drop off.
I'll retweet it.
Yeah. So I don't know. AQUALIX looking better without their IGL right now. Looking poised to just.
No,
I mean, right now they're
taking
just
over the IGL role for like a week now. They've been scrimming it.
Yeah, the interim IGL right now is
No, I think
looking like it's going to
permanent.
be a. Yeah, it should be a permanent fixture because this team, they looked good against One Shot. That's the crazy thing. Let's not forget that they beat One Shot to get to this point. They beat One Shot to get to this point, and now they're looking even better. Whitlock, though, finally some kickback from KARN & Company. It feels like we've just been on a landslide for the past 5 rounds. But Whitlock is going for a clip of his own. Though he'll be swiftly shut out by Exile. And looks like they're AQUALIX, that is, trying to clear this roam. Not going for any quick fix kitchen dirt takes or anything. Trying to deal with it in the best way they know how. Killing.
I mean,
We're
so
trying
far,
to.
a pretty decent early round for KARN & Co. I mean, trade out Whitlock for Rethinking and CZ. Because there's 2 things about the operators that both of them had. You know, they're both hard breaches. Thankfully for AQUALIX, they brought the trifecta. They brought the thermite as well. But for getting hatches, not really the ideal hard breacher that you want to get. Bona falling early. That's kind of a grimacing pain that you don't really want to have to deal with. But Exile, he's making use of those Rotero drones. Down goes the shields, down goes the floor as the hammer of Aether gets dropped over towards kitchen, meaning that a lot of those ratty corners you also can't play inside of. Moto could be opened up, and with bottom man control for Exile, probably would make the most sense to go for a church execute. Considering you don't really have man advantage, you could maybe push down triple wall and try to get it busted open, but with that mute jammer, it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. And especially with Hat dead too, can't open up anything.
And finally a round that's going in the favor of KARN & Company. Mikey's just literally just crouch walking around as well above, and I'm not quite sure how he got there, to be honest. I rubbed my eyes and he got there. The Aether is in a clutch or kick situation. 30 seconds left. Let's just say I do not pity the fool here. He's going to crouch walk aggressively towards the enemy. Bait out some sound. But gets folded in penultimately by Mikey. KARN & Company, the first defense, they look strong. They look good on the roam. Does it translate to the other sites? That's the big question that needs to be answered right now. We've talked about how Cash stinks. Jim is shaky at times, depending on who you are. And obviously, I mean, bar stock it. Lamau.
You know, maybe could be
All I have to
stock.
all I have to say about that is Lamau.
You know, we were talking to CJ. We were talking earlier about, you know, like, let's wait for APAC. Let's wait for LATAM to whip out the bar stock strats. Maybe we've got some crazy NA like T3 in the slums, unknown underground bar stock strats we haven't seen yet. You know, it'd be the perfect opportunity to show those off.
I don't know.
Seems like I've stumped you, but the answer is pretty easy. It's our mid-season tournament. It's the in-between stages tournament coming up next week. It's the 3rd through the 5th. That's free. First 64 teams, go ahead and sign up. Grab your spot. Make sure you're confirmed in. If you don't get in there, It's kind of rough because there's a Pro-Am spot on the line for that tournament and should be a whole lot of fun. Right after that tournament's conclusion, we'll go right into Stage 2 qualifiers. A whole nother month of Siege action coming through. That is a paid opportunity. You got to pay for that. But typing out !play in chat, that will bring you right to that page and get you all squared away.
I could pay for that. More importantly, if you're Carnage Company and you don't want to enter into that, you gotta have a strong tertiary defense here. A lot of shields. And when I mean every shield, every Goyo shield at least set up. On the cash side of things, and oh my goodness. A Montaigne. And it's Exile, that the IGL, newly appointed offensive coordinator, Exile.
If I see him drop shot somebody, I don't know what I'll do.
I mean, he is hard breaching though. One of the great things about the new Montaigne. You get 2 of those. So it's reasonable. But let's see, is this guy, we're talking about APAC, is, you know? We got an attitude on the Monty here? Or is it just Exile?
Probably just Exile and rethinking.
They're just
and I
sending
guess they're
it.
just going to vault in. I was going to say they need to open it up a little bit more. And
They have no C4 in the area, so this could literally work. It depends on if there's someone
really
covering
smart
from the windows. The smoke's not going to kill him in time. Oh, it will. It'll kill the Montaigne, but it won't kill the planter. But, again, the window players. I don't know if there's anyone actually playing the windows, meaning this defuse is very doable for the attack. Someone's got to peek from the windows, or this is going to be an easy stick for Carnage B. Yeah, you see the tracers coming in. They're just at the end. They were way too late. I was like, that's a perfect rush, but someone's got to get on the windows. No one was there. And they didn't clear cache either. So playing the windows would have been a death sentence most likely anyway. So kind of skipped a step. Otherwise, I like that. I like the push. I respect it. They just...
all the ducks were almost in a row. They were so close. So close. But that last doke.
I respect the hell out of it.
It was not in the row. It went off at like a 45-degree angle and led to KARN sticking it. Getting that round. And CJ, do you think that's enough of a momentum breaker? In conjunction with the last round for KARN & Co. A pretty solid defense to all of a sudden, you know, AQUALIX tried to do something, they just shut it down. I think all of a sudden KARN & Co. are like, yeah, we can do this.
Maybe.
Only a maybe. Okay.
I mean, like I said, that was kind of a gimme. I think that was the easiest defuse of Karn's life.
Oh, yeah.
And Karn has played a lot of games. He's literally just diffused in front of a window because no one considered playing the windows. Now, I mean, if you're AQUALIX, they had an insurmountable lead. You know, you can afford a couple silly, goofy rounds. You know, you attack the basement one time. Try some reckless clear on the basement. Doesn't work. You try a Montaigne rush. Doesn't work. Now it's time to get down to business. Now it's time to roll up the sleeves. This is the site we have described again and again as easily the most abusable and malleable for the attack. And well, I would say if AQUALIX loses this round, then Carnage and company, they can bring out the pom-poms and say, okay, yeah, we have a real chance, guys. We're gonna win.
This is where Crafty Jr. and Seb and all the support staff just start cheering.
Yeah, like the pom-poms come out, you know. Mm-hmm. Everybody starts twerking, you know, if they win this round.
KARN,
and that's
he's our man.
That's a good start. And remember when I said you can't just force the garage door and expect to win? I'm not sure what April was thinking, to be honest. Again, this isn't a ranked game. This is the quarterfinals. He just walks in the garage door, tries to disrespect Sonar, and Sonar's not having that. Instantly shuts him down. We're at a 5v3. Connor, we were just talking about 2 seconds ago. It is now a very real comeback for KARN & company because AQUALIX is getting extraordinarily careless. We just have 3 people sitting on our breach right now, trying to force it.
Flood. I think it's a vault.
Another nice shot from her as well. The push comes through. The Habana is full white in sight, and Mikey gets a double kill C4 off of it. Habana was so blind, she just sat there blind. And let me tell you, that's the quickest way to get a team back into a game. How AQUALIX is playing right now. That's 3 rounds in a row where they're just kind of like, let's just say the final, they didn't study for it. They showed up.
Mm-hmm. They picked C for every answer.
No, this is the thing, right? They did good all semester, right? They passed everything. They get to the final and they're like, oh, we're too good for this. And then they just C on the final and fail it. That's what they're doing right now. Perfectly played game until now when you actually have to close it out. And if this goes to map 3, Oregon is a boring, ancient map, and that is perfect for a team like KARN's.
Because
I actually like them there.
Yeah.
So-
Sure, AQUALIX has bounced back, but the one Oregon result that sticks in my mind, you know what it is, CJ?
No.
The 7-0. Them getting stomped on by FPL Queens. And SI Quals.
Not to mention, I mean, the Gasher drama is still a thing. I mean, if he comes back, at this point, he would be down 2 maps of just warmth. You know, he hasn't played a map. While everyone else he's competing against has played 2. You have an ice cold guy slotting in, or are you going to continue on rethinking where right now, I don't know if the strat book has just, I don't know if they just ran out of pages and we're at the credits. Because the way
Obviously,
AQUALIX
his
is playing,
energy drink, he only, he drank like a monster instead of like a 5-hour energy. So, it's all the caffeine's gone. He wasn't ready for the sustained kind of energy usage. It was all like a one burst. He put his all into one map, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh yeah, you're up for 2, and he's like, what? I have a date at 10. Supposed to pick up a girl and go to a movie. Nope. Instead, Hat gets dropped off by Whitlock. The refrag comes in from CZ, the savior of AQUALIX, as soon as his attacking half split went through. The only one really doing a whole lot.
my
and
God.
Zeno obliterates him. Just like that, this is absolute deja vu. You trade Whitlock for 2 people. This time, thankfully, it wasn't both of the hard breachers.
once again, their solution to clearing this roam is instantly pushing into bar and taking ones with Whitlock. They aren't actually clearing above. To be fair, KARN Company isn't exactly... I mean, they didn't even reinforce Jacuzzi, for example. So their plan was not to clear out the roam that way, but to just push in a bar and try to take Whitlock. And again, it hasn't necessarily worked out for them, I would say. We've 2 rounds now on this basement site where, I mean, quite blank. AQUALIX has gotten pieced apart before they've even gotten off the ground.
Yep.
So once again, there's still roamers at large again. Above, they didn't clear above. So they're just skipping steps again. Mikey's just going to drop down. I'm pretty sure this is how he flanked them last time. Looking like he's going to get away with it again because I don't think anyone has any clue he's here. Yeah, Rethinking's about to get embarrassed. Rethinking gets his cheeks claimed. Gets taken down from behind from Mikey. And Mikey, looking for a second, is not going to anticipate Exile coming from blue. This is doable, a 2 versus 3, but this is KARN's team. They're disciplined. They're playing crossfires here on blue. Surely. And there's not much of an opportunity for AQUALIX to just do this silently. It's going to be a very elongated and obvious movement where this attack's coming from. No one coming from dirt or anything like that. You see Sonar's woken up a little bit. He's jiggy with it. He's moving. He's bobbing and weaving. He's jiggling. Waiting for these attackers to make their move. And it looks like they're going to go for Moto instead. A quick drop from Afer. Looking into Church to try to find somebody. He could find the Mozzie. That's a nice shot from Afer. And there's only KARN in Church here, just kind of pinned in the corner. KARN cannot miss any shots here, though. The recoil goes in his favor. And Sonar will finish off Afer as well. And we are at a tie ball game. C-Dabs, after a 5-1 lead from AQUALIX, has evaporated.
CJ, are you familiar with the Heimlich maneuver? It's to be administered when somebody
I'm not a doctor.
is choking. Think somebody needs to go help.
Someone needs
AQUALIX
some
out.
water? Think they need some water? Think they need a drink?
Something.
Because
I don't know if they
KARN
got
just
some
had like
dry Popeyes biscuits or something with no drink. They're choking. They are choking a lead. And sure, I guess with the Valk up and no real easy ways to get open the breach, can be a little bit more defender-sided. Give it that. I don't think quite to the 5-1 level that we've seen so far. Been some questionable decision makings on the attacks so far. A lot for AQUALIX has been, you know, just the solo entries on different sides of the map. Not really supplemented with enough intel in my eyes. Like, sure, you can send CZ in fast, but I like to see CZ following a drone instead of just following his own intuition.
I mean, based on his KD, both in this match and for the season, his intuition has served him well for the most part. But when you're trying to close out a team that KARN and company, like, I feel like they've been sleepwalking the first, like, 15 rounds of this series, if you include map 1 and 2 together. It's just, they've been literally been sleepwalking. Like a hungover version of KARN and company. Now, all of a sudden, on defense and club, with their season on the line, they've tightened up quite a bit, and AQUALIX hasn't really matched it. We see the OSA coming out from CZ. Considering this is a site that heavily relies on window play, and as we saw, that was the actual thing that was missing for AQUALIX previously. That could be the thing that propels into match point. But, of course, we have to be seeing how CZ's actually going to be using his shields. He's just going to bot walk towards the un-ADS. Okay, he's going to consider putting it here. Keep in mind, there are 2 C4s and 2 impacts on the defense, meaning, unlike the OSA we saw previously on Coastline, this one is a lot easier to deal with. Already been destroyed.
Yep, but you know, sponging up that utility. Mikey, now he won't have those impacts to, you know, deny the plant. I don't know.
Yeah, the plant?
Yeah,
I think it's more that he can't deny that wall. I mean, to be fair, they have Hibana on this bathroom ult, so like,
yeah,
even if he had impacts in that position, the extra one,
mattered.
It's like, it wouldn't matter. And even then, it missed anyway. So
missed half of them.
It missed. The wall's open. So
Slightly open.
It's open. People can die through that hole. It failed. It missed. You have a little bit of flank watch, I guess you can call it, from Kid Out. I doubt he's going to push into 2 shields. The other OSA shield, speaking of, has been popped. CZ's. By him and... Oh my god, KARN! KARN just got turned on like a light.
Wow.
And I did not expect to see that there. I don't know. Listen. KARN, you are getting up there in age. I don't know why you, of all people, the smoke is flying out there doing that.
How many toxic babes do you have?
A
1.
full load.
A 2? A 3? All of a sudden, 2 more kills come out for AQUALIX. They're taking the most out of this. But Whitlock, he's the last one alive. I thought he got the planter down, but no, rethinking is typing away on that diffuser, and Hat will clean up from the back. Around that was a little bit alarming, a little bit confusing, and CZ, he drops the sorry KARN because he knows that that shot was absolutely ridiculous. I'm very glad that we got that on camera. We caught that in 4K. That was insane.
KARN's thinking about taking out a mortgage after that. Just leaving this game behind. Look at this. Jesus! KARN. Whole lot of just gunplay from AQUALIX, and really smart. I mean, they're taking advantage of the fact Hibana is available on that gym attack this time around. They're going to get that wall open. From there, it's like jacuzzi pushes are kind of underrated in that capacity. If Hibana's available, you get that wall open, you get rid of that wall denial. In bathroom, hey, the site is officially open season, and that's quite literally what AQUALIX did. They just took full advantage of that jacuzzi push. Great window play from CZ, obviously. And we're on match point.
That was one of the nastiest shots I've seen in a long time. That was like a first bullet. What would you say? That's like a 110 degree flick. More than 90 degrees.
What kills me is, you know, it's not like the ambi-sense, right? Where this dude's on 7 trillion DPI and he's just flicking. I'm pretty sure that's like a low sense flick. That was way too controlled for me.
That was a full arm. Like, might have gave himself some Tommy Johns with that one.
Yeah, like this
right
guy
on the elbow.
He snapped his wrist. Just, I don't know. That was ridiculous.
No, that was not a wrist flick. That was an arm flick. That was full mouse pad movement.
Or not his wrist, his forearm. It just exploded. Just explodes. I don't know what that was, but once again, it's enough to put AQUALIX in a great position here. This is a site tough to defend. You're going to have to see KARN and company pull out some magic to keep themselves alive because, well, AQUALIX last time, I don't know what they were doing. I'm going to be honest. They just kind of walked in the garage door, kind of walked in the breach. It was a goofy attack. This is looking a lot more structured, much more clear plan in mind. Clearing from Jacuzzi, clearing bit by bit, room by room. Hat will be taken out though before that can even start.
Was Hat just walking into garage?
Couldn't tell you.
I think he was.
I'm not gonna say it because I didn't see for sure.
I think he was.
I didn't see the film in 4K.
He was either
Whitlock
walking into blue or walking into garage. One of those positions. Yep, he was walking up secret or jumping in the window. Jumped in the window. Alrighty. While the rest of his team was pushing on the opposite side, Mikey pocketed a cam. That could be an interesting one. Can't quite see the breach of Xeno. He's going to find CZ. That's not the gunfight that you're going to want to take. Down goes your Nitro in mute inside the bomb site. One of the anchors, but one of those players, make that 2, can just rotate up red, and that's Carnage B to take out, get the revenge for his teammate. He's going to try to go for 2, but Afer's going to cut him down with the immediate trade. There's a minute 15 left on the clock. Everything's even, but Mikey's going to be the one to take that stalemate and shove it right back into his team's favor. The Nitro Cell below, we've seen the damage that it could do last time, and hopefully for KARN & Co.'s sake, and for overtime's sake, he can make it happen once again.
And once again, we see possibly the lowest percentage gunfight in the game. Taken by AQUALIX. And we're going to overtime. That was, yeah, I don't know. Hat. I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to go room by room and take this bit by bit. They didn't. To be fair, I mean, I guess the plan to get the wall open on server, I mean, we're looking at the bans. You kind of have to go in below. I get it. But you need some help. You need a drone or 2. Otherwise, you're just a no-drone Jerome walking around hopping in windows. Even if you have good intentions, still puts you in a really bad spot. And well, AQUALIX has to continue the attack. This is both teams went 1 for 5 on their attack halves. And AQUALIX has to be the ones to carry the torch into overtime.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe 3-3s. 3-3 splits. Maybe 4-2 either way. So really thinking 3-3s. That's what my heart was telling me. Maybe 4-2 defender-sided. Because of the bans. Because of the op bans. Not 5-1s. 5-1s, this is getting a little bit crazy. But typically, CJ, when we see these super defender-sided or super attacker-sided 5-1 whatevers in regulation, as soon as we get to OT, it becomes, hey, it's going to become attacker-sided. Like, we'll see the attack win almost every one of these rounds, potentially. And it's up to KARN & Co. on the side that they've been showing so much success and so much momentum to try to stop AQUALIX. They chose CCTV, the bomb site that AQUALIX definitely has looked by far the weakest. Like, they don't know what's happening on this bomb site. They don't know how to open up plant wall, and if they do, they're just going to run straight at it. They're just crouch walking into garage and taking a low percentage gunfight. I don't know, but you would have to say that was probably a smart decision.
I just want to see a 1 complete round from AQUALIX. I get it, Exile. He's fresh. You know, he's fresh to having the ability to call the audibles. There's a little bit of peeking, bobbing, and weaving coming back and forth between Mikey and CZ. Exile, I mean, get it. I get it.
Mikey was 1-6 at one point, by the way.
And defense does crazy things, huh?
Yep, it does.
Wafer's got walls. You see that? But yes, I mean, this time they're actually pushing room by room, like slowly with the drone. And one of the little known things, I mean, you can sort of get an angle onto the mute. It depends on where the mute general is. Onto the server wall from construction, depending on where the mute jammer is. It's a really slight pixel. And it requires a Zofia charge to be used too, and it's, you know, depending on whether there's disc there or not. Whitlock's gonna go down, but not before he takes down CZ. I don't know. There's potential for that mute jammer to get shut off, but I wouldn't bet on all that precision being used. So they're probably just gonna come flooding from construction with the server wall closed.
I mean, hey, Rethinking might be on his mindset of fine, I'll do it myself. Those Selmas could be pre-placed, so whenever that mute jammer gets removed, it will just open up.
Right, and wasn't... No, I guess that was CZ. CZ was the one trying to Ash charge that mute jammer.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look like it's going to be the case.
Yeah, they are pre-placed, so if they went down below and got it, which I thought that's what Rethinking was going to do because he jumped in stock, but instead it's the rotation over to construction. There's only 30 seconds left, and Zeno has a nitro. Over towards the door it goes. It's going to pick up two. Goodbye to the diffuser as it's dropped on the ground. Hat's jumping in. He's trying to do anything, but it's just a flurry of kills away at KARN and Co. Absolute slaughter. As AQUALIX, they couldn't even get the server wall open.
Yeah, you either got to go below or you gotta get that con wall open and find the little angle or something. Go to the server window, toss a grenade, something. But none of that happened. And there were a lot of, to be fair, there were just discs everywhere. Even if those things manifested themselves, you've got discs everywhere. Got ADSs everywhere. Sometimes the mute jammer is the most powerful object in Rainbow Six Siege. Because once again, prevented the attack from attacking in a triangle, CDAPS.
Yeah.
In a triangle. You can't just walk through a doorway. Everyone in this lobby is too talented for that to work. And you see just how powerful, again, mute is. And also, the attacker bands are, they allow mute to be that powerful. Though, again, I mean, I'm pretty sure CZ had... Can't you just lay down in the front door and, like, launch that? Isn't that a thing? If you line it up just right, you can hit the bottom of the... Or at the very least, you just walk in a couple steps and shoot it from inside the front door. I guess Mikey was just a problem. And of course, Whitlock ended up killing the Ash. So that's... It's just a headache. There's something that is usually very easy. Just became 10 times more complicated because of the bans. And because of how Carnage Company played it. And now, well, AQUALIX gets a chance to do that themselves. Same camera flying out from Afer, though this is a different site. That was his gym camera. He threw it for Ash too. I mean, obviously, you can use that to... Assuming Carnage... Because you know what's so frustrating? Carnage Company, last time we saw this site, sonar. I'm going to peek the garage door with the charge in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
If they actually go to open the garage wall, that Valve camera could be a nuisance. Let me just put it like that. Okay. Just landing on the motorcycles.
Would have snapped his leg in half, but, you know, no big deal.
You know how clumsy that would have looked in real life? He would have been flopping and falling over.
Yep.
He just lands on him.
Just every single one of those motorcycles would have fallen over, and all of a sudden, big elite bandit would have came out and said, "Hey!" Rethinking. I don't know what he would have done, but hey.
What the hell y'all doing with my bike?
Yep. Except it would have been in German, because that's where this is located.
I mean, wow.
Wow. That is so innovative, isn't it, CJ? Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
They went below and shot the mute jammer. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why that was. Honestly, I think that they're making that way harder than it needs to be. I feel like. Because I don't know why that was so difficult.
Mad overcomplicating that. And KARN & Co., you know, this is a tried and tested roster with talent on the IGL department.
I was giving the benefit of the doubt.
Experienced veteran leadership, CJ.
I was like giving the benefit of the doubt, like, there's just a lot of rumors, and maybe they just felt really pressured. I mean, no, it's like literally just get that from, I don't know.
It just ain't that deep.
Maybe, like I said, we're sitting here chilling, right? Watching. Maybe it's much more intense in game. Finally gonna get the garage wall open too. Holy crap. The plat wall and garage means that, well, CZ, normally, CZ, if you don't open those things, he's just gonna slam you. Here, this is a lot more doable for the attack, and there's a lot more discomfort for CZ. As flashes fly out, he moves. And Exile will find Xena. I don't know where that was. Oh, from the pool window, I think. That camera from Afer. I'm pretty sure they're just
Exile
Causing-
sat by that window for 2 minutes, by the way, to get that kill. It was marinating. It had so much flavor. And all of a sudden, AQUALIX is taking KARN and Co to Flavor Town, I guess, just obliterating, eating up everybody. Rethinking picks up Whitlock. There's one player left. It's Sonar inside of Garage. Is going to get 1 kill. It's probably going to fall impactless because he has the diffuser, but he has no time. Exile coming in from that pool window that he sat by the entire round will pick up a second as well. And all of a sudden, we're on maximum overtime. All 15 rounds will be needed on this equalizer linear map of Clubhouse, CJ. Will KARN and Co stay alive? Will AQUALIX send them straight out of the league?
Well, it wouldn't be straight out of the league because, they got all the way to this point. On Wikipedia, they're like top 8. It's not even get sent straight out. But yes, they would be jettisoned from the league if they lose this round. If this is a church defense, and quite frankly, AQUALIX has looked pathetic on every roam clear they've attempted on this. So I'm wondering if they're going to try like something direct. Maybe a kitchen dirt. The old class and rank take. Old-fashioned rank take. Maybe. Or they're just going to try to run into Whitlock piecemeal again. Now, Whitlock may have went 1-7 on map 1, but he's not that bad. You can't just walk at Whitlock and expect.
There's no traffic conery.
Listen, everybody's been a traffic cone at one point. But like Whitlock's too talented for that. I expect AQUALIX will do something different. Because again, just CZ saying I am going to walk at you. It's not gonna work.
I mean, it's worked 14 times and hasn't worked 9 times.
I guess it's more that it has worked maybe 1 time because they got
but it
one
won't
attack.
work again. And for the defense, a 1-for-1 trade is A-okay.
So let's see. I mean, looks like once again right into strip. His hat and looks like he's got support as well. Rethinking on the side of the map as well. What's the plan? They have reinforced Jacuzzi, ladies and gentlemen, this time. And Afer's just what was that? Just throwing his hands in the air at the open wall. And I mean, this is how a much more efficient way of clearing Whitlock. You actually surround him on all sides. Though, of course, Zeno is here in support. I don't know if there's a whole lot of drone work going on for AQUALIX to where they can account for this. They're getting really mobile on these strip players. Mikey goes down first. The Mozzie what is going on? They forget clearing. The defense is just walking right into the clear. And I swear to you, I was in the same breath saying like, oh, AQUALIX may not drone this out. And it literally in that same breath, everyone from KARN Company walked right into their guns. So just like that, this is the most anticlimactic
choo-choo train
round
down
ever.
Maine.
That is the most anticlimactic round I've ever seen. Like,
Yep.
What? They just walked in front of the breach and strip. When I swear to God, AQUALIX did not know how to. They struggled clearing that every round we saw basement. So KARN Company's response on 7-7 with their season on the line was to walk in front of them.
Give them
Three
the
people.
opportunity.
Wow. Sometimes, you know what, Connor? Sometimes you don't need to search for an answer. Sometimes the answer comes to you. Right? It's like looking for a hot girl.
As soon as you stop being
Just stop
thirsty,
looking.
and like as soon as you're like, yeah, you know what? I don't really have time for a relationship. That's when like, you're just like walk into a cafe and you make eye contact with a girl and it's just love at first sight.
I mean, pretty much. AQUALIX they walked into the strip club. Literally, this isn't like me being funny at this point. They walked into a strip club. Everything landed right in their lap. They won the round. And I cannot believe that. I mean, they literally, KARN Company played the basement roam perfectly every other round of this map. And on 7-7,
They just decided to say no. They decided to forget where they came from. Turn their back on the OGs. Turn their back on the roots. And just like that, that's a 2-0 for AQUALIX as they've had a pretty dominant run in SCS. Sure, this round was a little bit close for Comfort, but I mean, it's Clubhouse. Can you really blame any team for having it go to OT? It's Clubhouse. Kind of expected. Just one of those maps. And against KARN & Co., KARN & Co. definitely showed up and with Sonar looked like a better team, even though you don't really want to say like a whole lot of shame to Indy. And man, that shot from CZ was disgusting. That was ridiculous. But you don't want to give a whole lot of shade towards Indy, but this team does look a lot better with Sonar, and it's kind of to be expected. What they were lacking was that secondary IGL. All of a sudden, Sonar comes in, they look better. It wasn't good enough to beat AQUALIX.
Yeah, I'm not going to throw shade towards Indy, but I'm going to throw some shade towards Indy. Literally, which he just did.
Obama to the rim, for real, for real.
To be fair, Indy does stink. Sonar, you know, I want to be honest, we were cooking him up today.
Yeah.
Like, what?
We know we can take it. We know
Sonar's getting slammed today. But you know what? I agree with you. With the exceptions, Orange Company looks a lot better than Livid did in the past. But nonetheless, that doesn't matter. They got to sign up for the tournament next week, Connor, because they ain't going to the semifinals. AQUALIX is off a 2-0 without Gasher.
Yep. And do you know what the craziest thing about not having Gasher would be? It's just the fact that they still looked comfortable. The biggest thing about comfort is sometimes you can just flat out buy it, CJ. You can buy comfort.
Can?
Yeah. Mavix.com. Get a beautiful gaming chair. Don't know if the sale is still active, but I know that you can use code NSG55 for 55% off your order. You can get the most comfortable gaming chair on the market. They have a gaming chair that you can put air conditioning in, CJ. It can be heat or cooled. And that's just absolutely insane.
Really?
Just like all the stats for AQUALIX. And just like our interviewee that's coming up right now. It's Exile.
Dude.
Hello, Michael. How are you doing today?
Hey, Connor. How are you?
Doing pretty well. Seems like you have a really different backdrop nowadays.
Yeah, you like my poster?
I do like your poster. It seems like you're a big fan of Parabellum.
Yeah.
But you know, I was a really big fan of what you were bringing to the table today. I heard you were swapping onto the IGL role.
Well, you see, so we had a little situation today. Gasher was like, hey guys, I can make the game. And then Two-Face lost. So
Fast.
we had to get John. And then John pulled up. And basically CZ's like, I'm gonna IGL. And so CZ IGL'd. And then my wall mural, he would like pat me on the shoulders. He was a nice guy. I didn't know he existed.
You know, I just completely screwed up so much. I was saying that you were IGLing. Like,
well,
that whole
it's
game.
okay. It's okay, because like I'm not really IGLing. I'm like, you know, Gasher and I are like a little duo, a little combo together. It's kind of cute.
So CZ was not only IGLing in French Canadian tongue.
Yeah, he also spoke in a little
top
bit of
fragging.
Arabic. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
That's crazy. But yes, seems like you're having a whole lot of fun. And overall, gotta say, let's talk about map choice. Your guys' coastline. I guess in the old iterations with Rethinking, he always put up a good fight on coastline. Was that part of the mindset and going towards that map, is knowing that you were gonna have John on the roster?
I mean, we kind of just picked coast because we were like, well, we have John, and we're not gonna use strats. We're just gonna run around, and you know, wherever they go, we go. So we kind of picked coast because that was really easy for that. And then they picked club, which was kind of interesting considering the fact that like our club is like inconsistent, but like when it's consistent, it works. And then they went against our club with a sub. So I don't know. If you'd like to see what I'm looking at, I'm dealing with a Jazzman Cash right there.
Oh wow, that's a Beast Coast social media manager.
Oh,
plate.
No, that's not a plate. That's his face.
Oh.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and last thing, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Talk to all your fans, whoever you want to say, your supporters, as well as to Surf, who are your next opponents. Anything you want to say?
Well, we play Surf tomorrow, I think, and that's gonna be a fun game. Good luck to them. Shout out to my statue. Got him from Greece. It's pretty cool. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's kind of creeping me out.
That kind of creeped me out. But shout out to everyone who supports AQ. I mean, you know, non-existent AQ. But shout out to Gasher for not showing up.
Is Gasher going to be LFT? That was another question.
I mean, my statue also speaks, which kind of scares me. It whispers, and it's saying like, you know, Gasher's got to go. But I don't want Gasher to go. You know. But
Gasher gotta go.
You want Gasher to go. Ain't that right, statue? Yes.
Yeah.
How are you, Connor?
You know, pretty good. It's a nice fast game, and it was a pleasure to watch. Even you nitroing yourself,
Dude,
which I got
okay.
to yell at.
I misclicked.
Yeah,
I saw
you were
so-
staring at somebody.
I saw sonar
Your
planting.
former teammate.
Dude, I saw sonar planting and I was like, oh, okay, it's a free kill. And I like my thumb just hit my button. It just right there. So
Yeah. Thank you so much, Exile, for your time. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
As you guys play surf. It'll be a fun game.
It
Definitely
will
be a fun game for sure.
Thank you, Connor. Have a good night, sir.
Good night. And now we have the stats for the entire game, CJ, as you come back. CZ on the IGL roll, going crazy.
Excuse me? CZ IGL'd?
CZ was IGLing. You heard it from Exile.
I think he's lying to you, personally.
I don't know.
I think he was just lying in an interview. That's ridiculous. He was IGLing and hitting shots like that.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, to be fair, sometimes AQUALIX, they look like a bunch of lost puppies. So maybe his IGLing needs some work. But he was killing. Exile, of course, too. I mean, Exile was one of the top players against one shot as well. So you can tell those the new pickups, the max contract players for AQUALIX working out. On the side of KARN's company. KARN is king. KARN is company. I think this team needs time to develop a little bit more. I think they're about a couple weeks, couple months away from their final stage form. Like I said, there was a lot of silly, goofy moves from KARN Company. Put it like they're blowing themselves up. They're dropping hatches, but they have the right idea. It's just the execution wasn't there at times. But I think they'll be there sooner or later. AQUALIX, of course, though. Yeah. They, alongside One Shot, they're the pride of CL. They are the new world order of Challenger League, Connor, at this current juncture.
You forget the One Shot exists.
I just said One Shot. Dummy. Do you
I
hear
thought
me?
you just said
you just have selective hearing? I
Yes, I
said
do.
One
I'm sorry.
Shot and AQUALIX bracket. Let's look at
And
the
they
bracket.
could, CJ, they could meet in the finals. They could.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
could.
They're the class.
They could. Imagine,
class of our
imagine
region right now.
AQUALIX, or not, pardon me, One Shot back-to-back weeks, clinching SI closed quals and Pro-Am. That'd be pretty crazy, wouldn't it? They have to go through Aerial Rides Academy, who are on a little bit of a heater, you could say. A lot of people, almost nobody expected them to get out of the group of death, much less to come in and 2-0-2 faced, send Mr. P packing, and all of a sudden he's scrimming on New Year's Eve. His boys aren't up to speed yet.
Yeah,
He's putting out the LFS posts for Christmas for New
You already
Year's
know
Eve.
they actually will be scrimming on not just New Year's Day too. Oh, they're
Oh yeah,
scrimming.
no, that's what their LFS post. Like they are scrimming
oh.
on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. That is ridiculous.
Oh,
But
they are scrimming.
I digress. Other side of the bracket, you've got AQUALIX versus Surf. That's going to be a great game. T3 versus T2. Both of these teams, we could see a double T3, a double T2, or a T3 versus T2 grand finals.
T3 versus T2 ended. Either way, someone's gonna be happy from some sub-region of our region. But yes, Mike and I, sweet play of the day.
Sweet.
I know. I wonder what it is because, quite frankly, there were a couple.
It's got to be that
Mickey Mouse
CZ
plays.
shot, or if we're going Mimi, it could.
Yeah,
be,
I don't know. It could be meme. It could be Mickey Mouse. It could be actually good plays. Let's see. It could be literally Carnage be diffusing in front of a window.
Could be.
There's a lot of things it could be. Oh, it's this. Oh,
Oh, see, I
earlier from
missed
our earlier
this.
quarterfinal. Poison, Mr. P. Gets a nice
Venator.
shot.
Is he in a
Venatorial.
1v3?
Yes, sir. He is.
Yes, he does. Wow.
Yeah, that was
Kills Papa P.
the 1v3 where he killed one person. What's with
Played it
Two-Face
smart.
in that happening? That's like when Beastly did that against him too. Remember?
Yeah.
Dude laid on the
did.
Beastly did this and won a 1v whatever against Two-Face. And here
Yep.
they are in SCS. It's still happening with their new pickups. Two-Face, scrim on New Year's, get better. But for the rest of you guys, we'll see you in the semifinals, which they're not
We have
too
the
far
second
away,
game,
Connor.
whatever the second one is. I believe the AQUALIX Surf game. We will be back.
It's
It's like the Marvel
literally
end scene
it's,
credit.
it's not next week.
Seed
It's
Apps and
literally like
Cookies will be back.
it's like Thursday, guys. It's not like forever from now. Literally, quick turnaround, semifinals. quick turnaround, finals. We'll see you then. Stay tuned. We'll see you next time on SCS Season 6.